Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, namaste. A very warm welcome to the Inclusive India Summit 2025. I am Bhavna Sahai, the Director Communication at the National Association for the Blind, also known as NAP Delhi, and I'm very happy and excited to be your host for this event. This event is organized on the Global Accessibility Awareness Day, also known as the GAD. It is observed annually on the third Thursday of May. GAD aims to get everyone talking, aware, and learning about digital access and inclusion for more than 1 billion persons with disability along the globe. This year's theme is Committing to Change, that emphasizes the need for collective action in making our digital spaces more accessible and inclusive. What makes this summit truly special is the collaborative efforts of institutions from the government, industry, and civil society, all actively working together for accessibility, coming together to make this event a success. Our organizers includes the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, the apex government body working for the empowerment of persons with disabilities and supporting national accessibility initiatives. The State Bank of India Foundation, which has supported numerous accessibility and inclusion-based initiatives through events like these and also through its corporate social responsibility initiatives. And the National Association for the Blind, NAP Delhi, the organization that I am a proud part of, that has been working for the last 46 years towards empowerment of persons with disabilities, including persons with visual impairment, deaf blindness, and with additional multiple disabilities, focusing majorly on digital accessibility and inclusion and innovation. We are also honored to have our collaborators, the Association of People with Disabilities, APD Foundation, a pioneering organization that empowers individuals with disabilities to lead independent and dignified lives through comprehensive rehabilitation services, including education, livelihood training, and assistive technology. Mission Accessibility, a non-profit dedicated to advancing the rights of individuals with disabilities with a particular focus on digital accessibility. Together, these organizations exemplify the spirit of inclusion and accessibility that this summit aims to promote. To facilitate seamless access to all conference-related materials, we have implemented the following. You can find the QR code in all event banner, standees, and even in your lanyard that you are carrying. It gives you access to digital documents of all event related information. We also have sign language interpretation here that will be available throughout the event. Real-time captions are provided for our participants who are joining us online. For attendees with visual impairment, audio descriptions are available. We are dedicated to making the summit an inclusive experience for all attendees. Should you require any assistance or have any question, please do not hesitate to reach to our ground staff. Let me give you a quick overview of the day's flow. We began with registration, welcome high tea, and networking. The inaugural session will start shortly with remarks, keynote address from our chief guest. The session will also feature thought leaders from the SBI Foundation, NAP Delhi, Mission Accessibility, and the CABE Foundation. From 11 till 10 to 11:30, we will have the signing of MoUs with the DEPwD and organizations and the announcement of a new chatbot. 11:30 a.m. onwards, we will be breaking for tea. So please feel free to network during the tea break. The tea breaks ends at 12 p.m. 12 p.m. to 1:30, we will move to a panel discussion on inclusive mainstream technologies with experts from Amazon, IIT Delhi, Union Bank, and XRCVC. 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. we break for lunch. 2:30, 4:30 p.m. we reconvene for a national consultation on digital, including digital accessibility in computer science and design, led by APD. 4 p.m. to 4:30, and after event tea and networking break will be taken. We look forward for a day of rich dialogue, collaboration, and collective action. This program is conceptualized by the SBI Foundation, who are also our key organizer. And as the host of this event, I now invite Shri Sanjay Prakash ji, MD SBI Foundation, to the dais for giving the welcome address. Shri Sanjay Prakash has over 35 years of experience across rural banking, IT, HR, and community development. A passionate advocate for social impact, he is deeply committed to improving healthcare and education for underprivileged communities. Can we please have you, sir?
Thanks, Mr. Sanjay Prakash, MD, SBI Foundation is here with us.
Thank you very much. Respected Shri Rajesh Agarwal ji, Secretary DEPwD, Government of India. Madam Manmeet Kaur Nanda, Additional Secretary DEPwD. Director Shri Vikas Singh. Shri T.D. Dharyal, President NAB Delhi. Guests from various ministries, partner organizations, representatives from Meta, Amazon, Netflix, and other industry leaders, colleagues from the civil societies, and all our dedicated stakeholders present here as well as joined online. It is indeed a proud privilege for me to welcome all of you to this Inclusive India Summit on the occasion of the Global Accessibility Awareness Day 2025. It is being commemorated by the Center of Excellence for Persons with Disabilities in SBI Foundation, in collaboration with NAB Delhi and Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Government of India. It is a day that reminds us why accessibility is not a favor or a special consideration. It is, in fact, a right. And it is our shared responsibility to create a society where every individual, regardless of ability, can live with dignity, participate fully, and thrive equally. Over the last 5 years, this platform has grown from an event to a movement, a space where we collectively challenge limitations, spotlight innovation, and co-create pathways towards inclusion. During the pandemic, when physical outreach was very, very limited, we turned to digital storytelling, sharing the powerful journeys of employees with disabilities. These narratives demonstrated how accessible infrastructure and inclusive design don't just change workspaces, they change lives. In the years that followed, we welcomed grassroots innovators and NGOs who showcased remarkable assistive technologies, tools born from a fusion of empathy and ingenuity. Be it mobility aids or digital learning platforms, these innovations reminded us that true accessibility begins with understanding lived experiences. One of our most defining moments came last year when we celebrated the Global Accessibility Awareness Day by organizing a specially created, structured accessibility workshop at our Global IT Center, Belapur, Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, which is our technological vertical. By equipping our teams with the knowledge and tools to build accessible digital platforms, we didn't just tick a box, we embedded inclusion into our digital DNA. Last year, we introduced film screenings into our GAD programming, using the medium of cinema to spark empathy and shift mindsets. Stories told through films offered a human connection to the challenges and triumphs of persons with disabilities, making accessibility personal and not merely abstract. Last year, a beautiful film had come called Shrikant. So we took our all staff members to watch that movie, and it was really very well made, and it conveyed the story of the challenging journey of a person who was visually impaired. I'm sure most of you must have watched that movie. This year, we take a decisive step forward through a landmark tripartite agreement which was signed 2 months back, along with NAB Delhi and Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities in the office of Secretary Rajesh Agarwal sir. Together, we are working to strengthen the Sugamya Bharat app, a key initiative under the Accessible India campaign. This is more than a collaboration. It is a convergence of institutional power, grassroots experience, and financial stewardship. So through this program, the Sugamya Bharat app, we intend to reach out to all the persons, the visually impaired persons, with an aim to enhance real-time accessibility reporting, streamline grievances redressal, which is a very important area, and I'm sure Secretary Sir is very, very focused on this area, that grievances must be attended to and the pendency must be brought to nil or minimum, and enable smoother implementation of inclusive policies. It is a testament to what's possible when government, civil society, and corporate partners unite around a common vision. SBI Foundation works in various areas of development for the society. One of the most critical departments, should I say, or verticals that we have created is the Center of Excellence for Persons with Disability. That is the COE. We call it COE. The approach of SBI Foundation towards the disability sector has always rested on deep purpose-driven partnerships. I'll give you 1 or 2 examples just to show how we are working and in what areas our emphasis is. In Dehradun, the Latika Roy Foundation is leading the way in building early education environments that embody universal design. In Kolkata, Mahavir Seva Sadan empowers thousands with mobility through Jaipur foot prosthetics, restoring not only movement but also economic independence and self-worth. The Anushka Foundation takes care of the clubfoot disease, the children born with clubfoot, right from 6-day-old child to 6 months, 1 year, 2 years children. They are taking care of these children so that early intervention can prevent, can cure this disease. So we have partnered with Anushka Foundation in the states of UP and MP, and we are also thinking of expanding that. This is an inspiring example of how timely action creates lifelong impact. This clubfoot is a disease, if not cured on time, like I said, up to 1.5 or 2 years of age, then it becomes not curable, incurable. So the focus lies on identifying the children very early. So this is one example which we are proud of having partnered with an organization towards working on this disability, which is very less known, but very, very, should we say, widespread also. It is said that 1 out of 10 children in the states of UP and MP suffer from this clubfoot disease. Similarly, our long-standing partnership with NAP Delhi continues to expand access to inclusive education, skill building, and digital tools for the visually impaired. And recently, through Saksham Trust, we are reaching students across India with accessible technology and accessible digital content, ensuring that learning is not limited by sight, but illuminated by opportunity. These partnerships, we do not see them as mere transactions. They are built on trust, shared purpose, and a commitment to systemic transformation. So SBI Foundation is doing its bit towards the disability sector, whatever possible, in whatever possible way we can assist the persons who are suffering from disabilities of various kinds. We are always proactive and very, very keen to support such initiatives. So as we mark Global Accessibility Awareness Day 2025, let us ground ourselves in a powerful truth. Accessibility is not a technical issue of discussion. It is a human approach. It is about dignity, about ensuring that no one is left behind because of an inaccessible ATM or poorly designed app or an exclusionary policy. Today is not just about reflection, it is a call to action. So let us commit ourselves to removing all sorts of barriers, whether they are architectural, digital, systemic, or attitudinal. Let us choose to lead with empathy, design with inclusion, and implement with intention. On behalf of SBI Foundation, I extend my deep gratitude to all our partners, colleagues, and change makers present here today. When Mr. Daryal approached me with this idea that we want to celebrate GAD in this way here at this prestigious occasion, so I didn't take a second to say, means to agree to what he offered. And instantly I said, approvals will follow, please go ahead. So this is how we get associated. Your courage, your creativity, and your commitment are lighting the path to a truly Sugamya Bharat, an India where everyone belongs and everyone contributes. So thank you, all of you, for being part of this journey and part of this movement, which we call the Global Accessibility Awareness Day. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Sanjay sir, for the warm and informative welcome address. It was really empowering to listen about SBI Foundation's initiatives to promote accessibility and inclusion. And now it is time for the keynote address by the chief guest. Shri Rajesh Agarwal ji is a distinguished IAS officer and currently serves as the Secretary of the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. He is at the forefront of driving inclusive policies, accessibility reforms, and national initiatives aimed at empowering persons with disabilities across the country. An alumnus of the IIT Delhi, Shri Agarwal brings a rare combination of technical expertise and administrative excellence. With a background in engineering and a visionary outlook, he has long been an advocate for the intelligent use of emerging technologies in governance and development. Remarkably, his interest in artificial intelligence dates back to the time when AI was still a relatively unexplored context. Can we please have Sir here now to set the tone of the summit?
Dear friends, we welcome Mr. Sanjay Agarwal.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So it's very nice to see a lot of known faces and few new people also. I don't have a written speech, so usually I come to the podium and then decide what to speak. So I was wondering कि accessibility क्यों चाहिए? या हम इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की बात भी क्यों करते हैं? नेचर इज़ बेसिकली सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट. So probably we need to talk of what humanity means, what being a human, how is it different from being an animal. So sometimes we say we are social animals, so maybe a lot of it is just social construct, the idea of equality, accessibility. But are we all born equal? Not at all. आप किस देश में पैदा हो गए, काफ़ी चीज़ तो उसी से चेंज हो जाती है. आप अमेरिका में पैदा हुए कि ग्वाटेमाला में पैदा हुए कि कहाँ पैदा हुए, फिर विद इन इंडिया भी कहाँ पैदा हुए, नई दिल्ली में पैदा हुए कि झुमरी तलैया में पैदा हुए, फिर किस घर में पैदा हो गए, माँ बाप क्या करते हैं, क्या खाते पीते हैं. सो वी आर ऑल ए कंस्ट्रक्ट ऑफ दैट. देन हाउ कैन ऑल बी इक्वल? वी कांट बी. बट that's where humanity is different from other animal species. We take everyone along, regardless of social status, regardless of physical, intellectual status, or your money, power, or whatever. I was also wondering what exactly is a human being? One philosopher said, we think, I think, therefore I am. But in disability, we are dealing with a lot of children who can't think very properly, frankly. Then if you don't think, you are not. ऐसा भी नहीं है. So we take everyone along. Then I was wondering at what point does it have anything to do with consciousness or soul? Maybe when a conception happens, at some time in embryo, the physical structure of the brain starts emerging, then the neural connections start getting fitted. And at some point, awareness happens. Life is probably awareness. A fish probably is aware. A lizard probably is aware. At some point, consciousness emerges. And maybe soul is just a construct of your consciousness, nothing beyond that. And also I was thinking when we talk of consciousness, thinking, what really came first? Language or thinking? Maybe language came first because we think in something. We think in some language in our brains also. Or maybe it's the other way around. So this idea came to me when I saw the person here doing sign language. That if you are devoid of so-called normal language when you are born, so will the consciousness emerge? Will the thinking emerge? So unless the child can communicate with the parents, can communicate with other human beings, it cannot be thinking child. It cannot be fully conscious child. So that's why the first accessibility issue is access to language. And frankly, in the disability sector, when I had not joined the disability sector, we have our mental makeup, which silent pe kar dijiye, sorry. My phone was ringing, please just put it in silent. So where we were, so something to do with language, So before I had joined this department, we have our mental construct कि यार this disability is probably the worst in a sense. इसमें सबसे गड़बड़ है मामला. But slowly I have realized that language is the keystone. In that sense, I should not be comparing disabilities, but frankly, deaf children who are not exposed to sign language or other means of communicating, we are really leaving them behind as a society, as a government. So we are putting now quite a bit of focus on sign language, making sure children all learn sign language, those who need to learn sign language who cannot speak. Then again, language, speech and hearing impairment issues go beyond just lack of cochlea or something, but again, language and thinking and your neurons are highly connected. So children with intellectual impairment, sometimes their language system is not fully developed. They can't communicate properly. So that also becomes very important. So we have been working with people like people in IIT Mumbai on Jello app, etc. So if a child can't speak, can the child touch photographs on iPad or anything, or on a normal piece of paper, or on photos stuck in his near his bed, and the child just touches a picture, I want a drink, I want to go to toilet or whatever. So language is what actually starts making us human. And so that has to be the first point, that by whatever means we are able to give access to language to the child can grow and live better. I was talking to someone and we were talking of three things: life, learning, and livelihood. So when we talk of any kind of accessibility, I think we have to talk of these three constructs. So life, obviously, you have to be able to live with dignity, have access to food. So if a child with CP can't take the food properly without help, do we have simple solutions like weighted spoon and others, or a spoon with a gyro which actually costs 10,000 rupees? कि स्पून को टेढ़ा बिंगा भी करो, वो जायरोस्कोप उसको सीधा रखता है आपका, जिसमें आपका फूड होता है, बाकी आप हिलाते रहते हो उसकी डंडी को. So technology can be anything. So you can actually put high technology even in a spoon, which makes the cost go from 10 rupees to 10,000 rupees. But that's a challenge to all the technologists sitting here also. Access to food, we don't talk about it. कि आपकी प्लेट में खाना पड़े, उसको खा सकते हो कि नहीं खा सकते आप खुद से बिना अपने पे गिराए, या आपके मुंह तक भी लेके जा सकते हो कि नहीं. I'm a chairman of National Trust also, so there we deal with all the parents who talk of such stuff. One parent was telling me, who is also a board member, कि सर हमें 10 साल लगे, जब बच्चे ने दलिया पहली बार बिना गिराए खा लिया तो हमें लगा एवरेस्ट जीत लिया. So accessibility can mean this. We usually don't talk about it. We say airport accessible, railway accessible, and all of this. So today I'm talking of absolutely nuts and bolts. So life means all of this. Life also means आपको टॉयलेट आई है तो आप टॉयलेट तक जा सको. हाँ, अगर आपके स्कूल में टॉयलेट ही नहीं है, दिव्यांग टॉयलेट, बच्चा जितना मर्जी होशियार हो, बच्चा व्हील चेयर पे है, आपकी टॉयलेट एक्सेसिबल नहीं, लड़का हो या लड़की हो, लड़कियों के लिए ऑब्वियसली ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है. क्या करेगा बच्चा? या तो स्कूल नहीं जाएगा, या क्या डायपर पहन के स्कूल जाएगा दूसरी क्लास में, 5वीं क्लास में. That's a person on wheelchair has to take a 6 hours flight. फ्लाइट में wheelchair नहीं जा सकते, तो how will you go to toilet? You will go crawling to the toilet, or you will wear adult diapers, or maybe you will spend double the money to take 3 flights rather than a 6-hour flight. Some people who go around the world, they tell me कि सर हमें छोटी छोटी फ्लाइट लेनी पड़ती है, जो आप एक फ्लाइट में पहुंच जाते हो, हम 3 फ्लाइट लेके जाते हैं डबल खर्चे पे. So lack of accessibility means all of this. Living life with dignity. It covers all aspects, digital, non-digital, physical, everything, sports stadiums, everything. Then obviously learning is very important. Learning also is what distinguishes us from animals. बंदर या चिंपैंजी तो स्कूल नहीं जाते हैं, ह्यूमन बींग्स ही जाते हैं. So right to education, right to go to school, right to go there with dignity, without getting bullied even by other kids. So that is right to education, right to learning. So it includes obviously physical infrastructure, it includes digital infrastructure, it includes individualized education plans, it includes individualized examination plans. So it includes all of this. In this also, as society, as lot of now, at least in last 2 years, my mantra has been that I was told when I joined, someone came and told me कि सर एक इसमें मंत्रा है आप याद कर लो कि nothing about us without us. तो वो हमारे मंत्रालय ने काफ़ी फॉलो किया है. हम कुछ भी डिसीजन है चाहे फॉर्मली या इनफॉर्मली कम्युनिटी को ज़रूर रीच आउट करते हैं. एंड लर्निंग में भी बहुत सारी सजेशंस आ रही हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल आई वाज वेरी हैप्पी व्हेन yesterday I got a WhatsApp message कि there's a girl Palvi Ghosh who is blind and who has scored 94% in her 10th or 12th standard. I think 10th के results आए थे, 12th के कि 12th standard CBSE, and वो उसके खुद के नंबर हैं. उसने स्क्राइब नहीं यूज़ किया, लैपटॉप पे खुद से पेपर दिया है. So we are really happy about it. So we want all kids to learn. We want, so इसमें सिर्फ CBSE ने सर्कुलर निकाल दिया कि जो बच्चा स्क्राइब के बिना इंडिपेंडेंटली करना चाहता है वी वेलकम दैट कि आप लैपटॉप पे कर लो. सो विल एंश्योर कि जो एग्जामिनेशन है, क्वेश्चन पेपर है, इट्स एमिनेबल टू ए लैपटॉप सिस्टम. तो बच्चों ने खुद से मेहनत किया, बच्चे आगे आ रहे हैं. स्टेम एजुकेशन में बच्चे आगे आ रहे हैं. सो देयर इज ए मूवी, कौन श्रीकांत बोला कि जो मूवी है, ही वांटेड टू डू स्टेम एजुकेशन एंड ही हैड टू फाइट एट एवरी स्टेप. अभी भी एट अवर ओन NIVH blind school we introduced science only last year. So given a chance, given access to education, people can do lot of stuff which otherwise we cannot imagine. So access to learning is extremely important. Last point I will speak on is access to livelihood. What does it really mean? Yes, as human beings, as a compassionate society, we wish to take everyone along. But the harsh reality is कि घर में भी उसी की इज्जत होती है जो कुछ कमाता है. And I do believe after spending 2.5 years in this sector कि majority, 80%, 90% of children with disabilities can grow to be productive adults, provided given a chance, provided we have faith in them, provided everything is accessible. मेरे बाद के बहुत सारे स्पीकर्स इंडिविजुअल एक्सेसिबिलिटी की बात करेंगे, सो आई एम स्किपिंग ऑन दैट. इसमें भी देयर आर नाउ thousands of success stories cutting across disabilities, cutting across geography, cutting across the gender system in the country, where people have reached heights, they are doing stuff which usually parents would say कि नहीं कर सकते, and parents don't have faith in the child. Parents ही chance नहीं देते, parents तो, so that has to grow from there. Parents have to have basically knowledge about role models. Parents should know नहीं, इस disability के बावजूद भी देखो इतने role models हैं, वो उधर पहुँच गए तो हम भी help करेंगे बच्चे को. Then obviously teachers, society, बच्चे के classmates, everyone has to help the child have faith in himself or herself. And then I am very happy that corporate sector people are here in big numbers. And I tell all corporates कि आप take a leap of faith, persons with disabilities, youth with disabilities को आप chance दीजिए, और उसके बाद काम नहीं करता निकाल दीजिए, क्योंकि चैरिटी आप 2 लोगों को दोगे, 4 को दोगे. पर चांस दीजिए, अपनी कंपनी के वर्क एनवायरनमेंट को एक्सेसिबल बनाइए, डिसेबल्ड फ्रेंडली बनाइए, कोलीग्स की, सुपरवाइजर्स की सेंसिटिविटी ट्रेनिंग कराइए. एंड देन आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट कि 95% केसेस द कंपनीज विल फाइंड these employees are productive, they do less gossip, and with good experience they will hire more and more people. I've seen that happening with Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, Amazon, and so many. Now SBI Foundation is doing this. So here the model has to move beyond charity to giving livelihood. आप कितने दिन fish पका के खिलाओगे? You have to teach people how to fish and cook fish and eat for themselves. So that's my request to corporate sector also. So access to all these aspects of life, which makes us truly human, truly different from chimpanzees. So these are the things which as a society, as a government, as corporate, we need to ensure. So I will stop here, but I am here for next 3-4 hours listening to all of you. So I thought I will try to bring new dimensions of what really access to lot of things means. And एक चीज़ मैं शुरू में कहना चाह रहा था, जैसे मैंने कहा कंट्रीज़ का, आप लड़का पैदा हुए कि लड़की पैदा हुए, that also changes access to everything. We saw during COVID also कि लड़के ऑनलाइन क्लास में आ जाते थे, उसकी बहन नहीं आते थे, उनको एक्सेस टू मोबाइल फ़ोन नहीं था, इवन ड्यूरिंग कोविड टाइम्स. So in disability sector, the delta between boys with disabilities and girls with disabilities is extremely huge. In our own ADIP scheme, ratio is 2:1. Census is 1:1, men and women. अगर लड़का है वो आके व्हील चेयर ले लेगा, लड़की है घर पे बैठी रहेगी. We really do want to change that. So my request to all parents is कि बच्चों को स्टिग्मा मत फील कीजिए, शर्म मत फील कीजिए, बच्चों को बाहर लाइए. एंड फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑल्सो, आई थिंक वी आर इनटू ए चिकन एंड एग इशू. सड़क पहले बनेगी, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पहले एक्सेसिबल होगा, फिर बच्चे बाहर निकलेंगे, बड़े बाहर निकलेंगे विद डिसेबिलिटीज़. या आप सब लोग फ्रॉम द कम्युनिटी, एज पेरेंट्स, एज चिल्ड्रन, एज यूथ विद डिसेबिलिटीज़, आप बाहर निकलोगे इवन विद इन एक्सेसिबल स्टफ, तो अपने आप इंफ्रा भी बनेगा. आप ही नहीं बाहर निकलोगे, चीज़ों की डिमांड दिखेगी नहीं. सो हम चिकन एंड एग वाली सिचुएशन में ना फंसे रहें, तो उससे बाहर निकलें. एंड बाहर निकलेंगे तो सड़क पे निकलिए, मॉल्स में जाइए, सिनेमा हॉल्स में जाइए, स्कूल्स में एडमिशन मांगिए, हर जगह जाइए. फिजिकल इंफ्रा नहीं होगा तो शोर मचाइए, अपने आप बनेगा, तभी अवेयरनेस आएगी. निकलेंगे नहीं तो अवेयरनेस कैसे आएगी, पता कैसे चलेगा. और ये सरकार की बात नहीं है, एज ए सोसाइटी ऑल्सो. मैं जब स्कूल में था तो सिर्फ हमारी क्लास में एक आधा पोलियो का बच्चा होता था, बाकी बच्चे आते ही नहीं थे. ना हमने स्कूल में 12वीं तक कोई ब्लाइंड बच्चा देखा था, ना कोई डेफ बच्चा देखा था. इसलिए आजकल मैं इस बात पे भी काफ़ी इधर उधर बोलता रहता हूँ कि मे बी स्पेशल स्कूल्स आर, येस दे आर रिक्वायर्ड, बट a real thing is when a child can move from a special school to a inclusive school, maybe after 2nd, maybe after 5th, maybe after 10th. So ultimately you have to live in an inclusive society. Separation karke, isolation karke, ghettoization is not the solution. So my request is inclusiveness of all kinds, and only then we will all move together as human beings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the powerful talk. I now declare the inaugural session open. This session, we are joined by industry experts across organizations who will share their experiences, the current scenario, and the way forward. I request each speaker to kindly adhere to a time frame of 5 to 6 minutes. I now invite Mr. C.P. Gurnani, co-founder and CEO of Illinois, to deliver his address. He is a visionary leader and technology innovator. He brings over 4 decades of experience in transforming businesses and championing inclusive, sustainable tech, best known for leading Tech Mahindra's turnaround of Satyam. He currently helms Illinois. His work reflects a deep commitment to people, planet, and purpose. Can we please have you, sir?
Thank you, friends. We have Mr. C.P. Gurnani with us now.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. your presence here clearly shows your commitment to not only the cause, but more important is that you are looking at the solutions. That, when Mr. Sanjay Prakash started the day's proceedings, he talked about the Technology Innovation Center at Belapur of Mumbai. Mr. Agarwal, Rajesh Agarwal, as a IS officer, secretary, touched many, many topics. But, I guess more important for me is responding to the point he made regarding the role of corporate. And, as I come back and answer those points, I want to actually take you back and say we don't realize it, but many of these incidents are personal to each one of us. One of my cousins, Bhavna Jagwani, who lives in Jaipur, at her third pregnancy, she became temporarily blind. She was blind for a few months. And now her life's mission is helping the impaired. She has also gone a step forward and started looking at organ donation as a way to help needy people. And Bhavna has dedicated her life completely to this. I grew up in Jaipur, and one of my pastimes was just going and hanging around, because that time Jaipur Foot was part of the SMS hospital in Jaipur. And Dr. P.K. Sethi, who was the founder of Jaipur Foot, his daughter was, part of my college school gang. And I would just go and stand there as a young student just to see how lives were being transformed. And to me, it wasn't only about the initiative of Dr. P.K. Sethi or the carpenter who used to work with him, an illiterate carpenter, but to me it was a story of frugal innovation. To me it was a story of how tens and thousands of people would walk in, being blown away by the mine somewhere on the border, losing their limbs, and then in the next few days jumping from a tree. Now, and what was the cost of that? The cost was almost 1/50th of what overseas a Western foot would be. Now, why am I bringing these stories is that on one end it is the individual's determination, on the other end there's an organization's determination. This organization that runs the Jaipur Foot and now headed by one of the ex-IS officers and earlier SEBI chairman, Mr. Mehta, clearly is a demonstration that Mahavir Association, which runs it, is able to create the funds. I've never heard them say that technology is limiting them or the funds are limiting them. They are forever willing to go to Iran, Iraq, as if they are the warriors. And they are willing to set up their Jaipur Foot centers wherever it is required. So, my point again is, fast forward in life, Bhavna's story is almost 30 years old. Dr. P.K. Sethi is almost 45, 50 years old story. What has changed in the world? The change in the world is when Mr. Rajesh Agarwal reminds you that CBSE exams, and it is again coincidental that one of my close friend's daughter, her name has appeared in Times of India, that she scored 93% marks and she is visually impaired. This young girl, Isha Jain, daughter of Rajiv and Aparna Jain, owes it to her grandfather who helped us learn technology. She owes it to her school, which did not give her a chance to say that you are a challenge. She participated in an inclusive school where she was sitting and rubbing shoulders with all so-called abled people. And that she is the top scorer shows not only her grit and determination, but the willingness of the society, the willingness of the parents, the willingness of the grandparents to participate. And I know it's just the first step. She just cleared her 10th exam. But to me, it is a visual sign. It's a very emphatic sign that there is a hope, there is a desire, and it is for us now to embrace technology. And what this ecosystem or the village did to help Anisha Jain, how do we make it as a practice? Can technology help? My answer is yes. Think about it. We use the word artificial intelligence. I think it is applied intelligence. I think it is more augmented intelligence. And if we are able to embrace it, what I am going to propose to Mr. Agarwal is, or to Mr. Sanjay Prakash is, I am willing to collaborate. Let us take specific challenges and let us find those solutions. Waiting for the world to build the ramps or build a proper facility, I think we can. It hasn't happened in the last 75 years, despite of every kind of an act and a law. It's not going to happen. But if we can make technology affordable, if we can find those zealots like Mr. Mehta, I think we can solve it. First step, identify those 10 problems that we are looking for a solution. Look at 10 problems where we want to be digitally inclusive. Look at a problem where we think or hope that the technology can transform. And I'm willing to commit all my time and 45 years of industry, corporate experiences, whether it takes doing an hackathon, whether it takes bringing in the scientists from whichever part of India. Ultimately, remember, Aadhaar was Nandan Nilekani bringing in people that he knew to solve a problem. That a COVID vaccine in India was created by Dr. Krishna Ila because he believed in it. And he collaborated with, other Department of Biotechnology. But the reality is there was a leadership of Dr. Krishna Ila out there. So my request is, please let us identify 10 problems. Let's make a beginning. I, again, will like to work with Sanjay and Mr. Agarwal to create some kind of a movement. Next time, all of you, when you invite us, I would rather discuss case studies of not Dr. P.K. Sethi, not of, Bhavna Jagwani, but I'll rather discuss the case studies of what we together today have decided to achieve. And I hope, we can carry this forward because we owe it to the society to work together to create a better, inclusive India. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gurnani sir, and thank you for reminding us how innovation, how inclusion can be brought out through your real life stories and anecdotes. I now invite Mr. Khandu Bhandare, Deputy Manager and Special Trainer at SBI Foundation, to share his remarkable journey and insights. Mr. Khandu Bhandare is a visually impaired banking professional. He is a leader in disability inclusion and training, and he has conducted over 80 programs for more than 4,500 employees with disabilities across major banking institutions. We have Mr. Khandu here with you.
Friends, Mr. Khandu Bhandari is with us.
Respected Rajesh Agarwal sir, MD SBI Foundation Sanjay Prakash sir, our Vice President Shashi Bhushan sir, and both online, offline who are listening to me. Good morning to all of you. So as Bhavna was saying, I am a trainer throughout my journey. I would like to take you to one of the classroom. Imagine you are in the first day of the training program, and the first session, one person comes to you with the name Mr. Rahul from Indian Bank and tells me, "Sir, can I go to room? I don't want to attend the training." I ask him, why don't you want to attend the training? What happened? He says, "Sir, from last 4 years, I am sitting in the branch, I'm not doing anything, and I have not been given any work. What I will do in the training?" So I asked him whether, "Do you know the computer?" "No, sir, what I'll do by knowing the computer?" So that's the challenge, that's the beginning of the trainings. Generally it happened, and the journey started in 2017, where Center of Excellence for Persons with Disability took initiative to conduct the training programs for persons with disabilities. We established the center in 2017, September, and from that time we conducted the pilot training programs, 5 pilot training programs exclusively for 8 banks, where we taught how the banking can be done with the help of screen reading software, JAWS, how you can better work on the computer. And why we initiated the training? Because we thought recruitment is happening, but after recruitment, whether the potential is being utilized by the banks, the answer was no. Most of them are just sitting, not working properly, or not being utilized by the management. There, SBI Foundation Center of Excellence came into role and started training program. The pilot training program which we conducted got very good response, and then we started signing MoUs with the partner banks. As on date, we have signed MoU with 12 partner banks, including Reserve Bank of India, Union Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, our own State Bank of India, and other regional rural banks. So that was a journey. And in this banking scenario, why the training is important? When you give training, proper training to a person with disabilities, what happens? What is the impact? That is very, very important. When I started doing this training, I met a lot of many people. I travel across the India. I met many of the employees with various challenges. They share their problems, and I got to know a lot of things from them, and I have specially learned many things from them. But as I told you in the beginning, one person comes and he tells that I don't want to attend the training, shall I go to room? That person now is working fantastically. When I asked for the second advanced training, his branch manager was not leaving him, saying that, "No, we cannot leave him because he's giving a very good input." That's the impact of the training that we are doing. Because many of them, like in metro countries, we see you get good computer trainings, a lot of NGOs are available, but some rural part of India, some persons with disabilities, they don't know about computer, they don't know about JAWS properly. But we give them training that solves the problem, and they can give more and more contribution and to the NGO or to the organization wherever they are working. Only training doesn't serve the purpose, because suppose COE has given the training, but the peer colleagues, HR, they are not aware how to utilize the potential, what potential that particular person is having. In that case, having knowledge is not useful. So what basically we do, we conduct the sensitization programs to HR, IT and premises department also, to know what is disability, how to use the potential of the employees, And here we are conducting this training programs as Bhavna mentioned that we have conducted more than 85 training programs and more than 6,000 employees we have trained in the disabilities. Especially we are covering employees with visual impairment and employees with speech and hearing impairment. That we are doing. And how the accessibility plays a role. I would like to share one incident. One fine Sunday, the training program was just about to start, and one person was going out from the training center, and he fell down from the staircase. Why? What was the reason? Because there was no railing to that particular premises. But immediately our Vice President sir immediately raised the issue, and he told that there was no railing. Immediately a director sir took initiative. Railing was there within 2 days. But the thing is, this kind of inaccessibility is hurdle for us. This kind of inaccessibility in software, many applications. Suppose I know software very well. I have very good technical knowledge, but the application itself is not accessible. I cannot be that much productive. I cannot give my proper inputs, or I cannot give my good contribution to the organization. So the point is, we are always pushing, we are always trying to make our applications document accessible. COE, even one of the Global Accessibility Awareness Day, took initiative to make this document web accessible with the help of XRCVC. We did one workshop, as our MD sir mentioned. So that was a initiative that we took, and we keep on doing this different workshops to make these things accessible. And I feel other organizations like Union Bank of India, PNB, they are also doing, but others also should come forward to make the things accessible. Finally, what I wanted to say about accessibility is, which brings the clarity to understand the surrounding for me, is the accessibility. Which brings productivity in my work, that is accessibility. Which reduce the dependency from my life, that is accessibility. And finally, which brings the dignity in my life, in the society, that is accessibility. So I wish happy Global Accessibility Awareness Day to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bhandare, for showing us what commitment training can bring in turning around systems and including persons with disabilities in mainstream society, and also causing societal awareness. I now would like to request Shri Prashant Ranjan Varna, General Secretary, National Association for the Blind, Delhi, to please come and deliver his address. Mr. Verma is an accessibility specialist, innovator, trainer, and disability right activist with over 25 plus years of experience. He had led numerous digital accessibility initiatives and conducted training on web accessibility and assistive technologies, India and globally. We have Prashant Ranjan Verma for you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me to be the speaker in this session. I am also representing the organizers of the event, and I hope we are able to make the event inclusive and comfortable for everyone. तो आज मैं जो ये ख़ास दिन है ग्लोबल एक्सेसिबिलिटी अवेयरनेस डे, तो इस पे फोकस करना चाहूँगा कि एक्सेसिबिलिटी क्या है, क्यों ज़रूरत है. तो आई थिंक हम सब एग्री करेंगे कि वी आर लिविंग इन ए डिजिटल वर्ल्ड. सब कुछ सारे काम लगभग डिजिटल होने लगे हैं, चाहे वो टिकट बुकिंग हो, शॉपिंग हो, जॉब के लिए अप्लाई करना है, और वर्क प्लेस पे तो आई थिंक शायद ही कोई ऐसा वर्क प्लेस हो जहाँ पे कंप्यूटर्स और टेक्नोलॉजी और इंटरनेट की अब ज़रूरत नहीं है. और वी विल ऑल्सो एग्री दैट बाय एंड लार्ज दिस हैज़ मेड थिंग्स मोर एफिशिएंट, मोर कंफर्टेबल, बेटर फॉर in general. Then I think we will also agree that technology has changed the world. Technology has changed the lives of everyone. और जो लोग डिसेबिलिटी कम्युनिटी से हैं वो जुड़े हुए हैं, आई थिंक दे ऑल्सो एग्री दैट technology is actually changing the definition of disability. So tasks which were considered impossible for person with disabilities, many of those tasks can now be done easily. अब इन सब चीज़ों में लेकिन बहुत सारे ifs and buts है और वहीं पे accessibility की बात सारी आती है. जैसे मैं यहाँ पे हूँ, मेरे कुछ फ्रेंड्स भी ऐसे अमर जैन और दूसरे लोग हैं, हम लोग यहाँ पे इस कमरे में होते ही नहीं अगर कम से कम कुछ कॉरपोरेट्स, कुछ कंपनीज़, कुछ बड़े प्लेयर्स ने थोड़ा सा एक्सेसिबिलिटी और इंक्लूजन का ना सोचा होता. हम लोग यहाँ पे इसलिए हैं कि हम विंडोज़ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम चला लेते हैं, हम माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस पे काम कर लेते हैं और इस वजह से आपके साथ कई सारे ऑफिसेज़ में काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ ईमेल कर पा रहे हैं डिस्पाइट आवर विजुअल इम्पेयरमेंट्स. क्योंकि वो सारे जो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम्स हैं, जो सॉफ्टवेयर एप्लीकेशंस हैं, वो इंक्लूसिव है, यानी कि वो पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी जो भी वो कोई टेक्नोलॉजी टेक्निक लगाकर इस्तेमाल करते हैं उसके साथ काम करते हैं और वो चल पा रहे हैं. लेकिन अब एक सिनेरियो आ गया है कि पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ वो अगर डिजिटली लिटरेट हो जाए, विंडोज़ और एंड्रॉयड और एप्पल वगैरह चलाना सीख भी जाए, तो ऐसे सिनेरियोज़ आ रहे हैं कि किसी ऑफिस में जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे उस ऑफिस ने जो ख़ास कोई पोर्टल बनवाया हो, कोई एप्लीकेशन बनवा रखा हो, कोई ऐप बनाया हुआ हो, वो नहीं चला पा रहे. या फिर डेली लाइफ में टिकट बुकिंग के लिए कोई ख़ास ऐप नहीं चला पा रहे, किसी बैंक का ऐप नहीं चला पा रहे, बाकी सब चला पा रहे. तो उनके पास टेक्निकल कैपेसिटी होते हुए, टेक्निकल नॉलेज ट्रेनिंग होते हुए भी कुछ खास वेबसाइट्स, ऐप्स, कुछ डिजिटल डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं पढ़ पा रहे हैं, नहीं चला पा रहे. तो ये है दरअसल जो एक्सेसिबिलिटी है और डिजिटल एक्सेसिबिलिटी है. एक्सेसिबिलिटी में बहुत सी बातें आती हैं, लेकिन मैं थोड़ा सा इस चीज़ पे फोकस करना चाहूँगा. तो हमारी कंट्री में भी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ के इनिशिएटिव से अब क्लियर गाइडलाइन स्टैंडर्ड्स बन गए हैं कि जो लोग वेबसाइट्स, ऐप्स, डॉक्यूमेंट्स बना रहे हैं उनको करना क्या है, कैसे, क्या क्या उसमें फीचर्स होने चाहिए, क्या टेस्ट करना है, वो सब वर्ल्ड वाइड भी क्लियर हैं, स्टैब्लिश्ड है, इंडिया में भी क्लियर हैं, स्टैब्लिश्ड हैं. और अभी कुछ बहुत रीसेंट कोड डायरेक्शंस भी बहुत अच्छे आए हैं, जिसके बारे में आई थिंक कुछ और स्पीकर्स भी बात करेंगे. तो प्रॉब्लम बस ये है कि जो क्रिएटर्स हैं, डेवलपर्स हैं, वो उनको इन गाइडलाइंस का पता नहीं है और उस तरफ एफर्ट्स नहीं हो रहे हैं कि उनको समझा जाए और वो चीज़ें अपनाई जाएं. उसमें जो छोटे छोटे चेंजेस करने हैं टेक्निकल लेवल पे, वेबसाइट्स, ऐप्स, डॉक्यूमेंट्स, अप्लायंसेस, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, वो चीज़ें अनफॉर्चुनेटली नहीं हो रही हैं, बहुत स्लो हो रही हैं. और इससे एक डिजिटल डिवाइड जैसा एक सिनेरियो क्रिएट हो रहा है कि बहुत बिग सेक्शन ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन लाइक इज़ एट दैट रिस्क वेयर उनकी एजुकेशन, उनकी लाइवलीहुड प्रॉस्पेक्ट सब कुछ डेंजर में है और वो अफेक्ट हो रही है. इसका एक दूसरा सिनेरियो ये भी है कि इट हैज़ बीन ग्लोबली प्रूव्ड दैट व्हेन थिंग्स आर accessible, when the products and services are prepared in compliance with accessibility standards, their usability actually improves, their quality improves for everyone. क्योंकि बहुत सारे ऐसे सेक्शंस हैं, जैसे सीनियर सिटीजन्स हो गए, जो लेस लिटरेट पीपल हो गए, उनके लिए भी दे बिकम ईजी टू यूज़. तो as it is, the population of person with disability is significant, and then there are many other sections of the society which benefit from those accessibility initiatives. तो एक तरफ तो नई टेक्नोलॉजीज़ बनाने की भी ज़रूरत है. बहुत सारे ऐसे टेक्निकल चैलेंजेस हैं या पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ के सामने कुछ टास्क हैं जो नहीं कर सकते, उनको ईज़ करने के लिए चाहिए. एंड एट द सेम टाइम जो एग्जिस्टिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज़ हैं, ख़ास करके प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज हैं, उनमें एक्सेसिबिलिटी कंप्लायंस की एक बहुत ज़रूरत है और इस पे आज का दिन ख़ास तौर से फोकस करने के लिए है. I would also just like to quickly speak about what we have tried, we as National Association for the Blind Delhi, and like many of those initiatives we are doing in partnership with the Department of Disability and SBI Foundation. हम लोगों ने जो लोग के पास इंटरनेट ना हो या स्मार्टफोन ना हो, अफोर्ड ना कर सकते हो, चला ना सकते हो, उनके लिए इंफॉर्मेशन को एक्सेस देने के लिए हमने श्रवण IVR ऑडियो लाइब्रेरी शुरू किया है. सिर्फ एक फ़ोन कॉल करना है और वो लेटेस्ट न्यूज़, वो भी सारी अलग अलग न्यूज़पेपर्स की, अलग अलग कैटेगरी की बहुत अच्छे से कंफर्टेबल वे में सुन सकते हैं. और साथ ही साथ बुक्स, टेक्स्ट बुक्स, एग्ज़ाम प्रिपरेशन मटेरियल और फिक्शन, स्टोरीज़, नॉवेल, सब कुछ श्रवण का एक फ़ोन नंबर है जो फ्री फॉर ऑल है, वो कर सकते हैं. इसके साथ ही हमने सेक्सुअल एंड रिप्रोडक्टिव हेल्थ, इसके बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन देने के लिए व्हाट्सएप चैटबॉट अदिति AI शुरू किया हुआ है. अगेन अवेलेबल फॉर एवरीवन, फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. और अभी हम, जैसे आप सर ने बताया कि हम सुगम्य भारत ऐप के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं. उसमें काफ़ी डेवलपमेंट्स हो गए हैं. उसका वर्जन जल्दी ही कभी रिलीज़ होने वाला है, जिसमें कि होपफुली इट विल बी ए लाइक ए वन स्टॉप solution or one stop tool for person with disabilities to get access to information about jobs, scholarships, their entitlements, and also a way to kind of file grievances also. और एक और चैटबॉट पे काम हो रहा है. आज शायद उसका अभी कुछ रिलीज़ और डेमो होने वाला है, उसके बारे में भी आप जानेंगे. So we are very, I will say, happy to be part of this movement. We can see lots of changes, lot of developments happening towards accessibility, and we are just urging each and everyone to actually just give some attention to this need for accessibility. All the creators in particular, to adhere to the accessibility standards and make it better for everyone. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for your valuable insights and also for your continued leadership in digital accessibility. Now we'll be having our next speaker who will be joining us online, Mr. Subhash Chandra Vashist, who is the Director of the Center for Accessibility in Built Environment, CAPE Foundation, a certified professional in accessible built environments. He has been instrumental in shaping accessibility standards in India. He is a member of various national and international committees on accessible transportation and mobility. His work focuses on advancing universal design, inclusive infrastructure, and policy advocacy for persons with disabilities.
And we have Mr. Subhash Chandra Vashist with us.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Respected Secretaries of the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Gurnani, Mr. Sanjay Prakash, Mr. T.D. Dharia, dignitaries, colleagues, and fellow inclusion advocates present today in this summit. ये मेरे लिए बहुत सम्मान की बात है कि मैं आज इस ग्लोबल एक्सेसिबिलिटी डे के अवसर पर इंक्लूसिव इंडिया समिट में आपसे बात कर पा रहा हूँ. ये दिन हमें हर वर्ष याद दिलाता है कि सच्चा समावेश तभी संभव है जब हम हर व्यक्ति को बिना किसी बाधा के जीने, सीखने और आगे बढ़ने का अवसर प्रदान कर सके, उन्हें अवसर मिले. And your presence, Secretary Agarwal sir, and the Additional Secretary Madam Nanda, Director Vikas sir, this underscores how seriously the Government of India is viewing the agenda of accessibility and inclusion, not just as policy ideals, but as essential building blocks of a truly inclusive nation. मेरे लिए accessibility is twofold, not just the foundation, not just the standards, but also how handle is installed at a particular place. Can it take a point load of 1.7 kilonewton in technical terms? How the floor behaves when a user with disability is using that floor? What is the coefficient of friction of that floor? Those technical details currently are missing from the space where we are implementing accessibility. तो हम accessibility implement करें तो अभी भी सभी departments का या सभी authorities का establishment का मोटो ये है कि CCPD के फाइन से कैसे बचा जाए. या मैं टिक मार्क कैसे कर सकूं और मेरा काम निकल जाए. I should not be on the wrong side of the road. That is the current objective. तो उस परिप्रेक्ष्य में होता क्या है, when you just take photographs and you upload it on the sites and say that yes, you have a good ramp, but the ramp does not have a right gradient. ये कुछ major challenges हैं जो awareness होने के बावजूद बहुत बार मिस हो जाते हैं. And at K Foundation, यदि मैं फाउंडेशन के लेवल पे बात करूँ तो yes, our conviction is that accessibility is a first step to empowerment. I mean, सुगम्यता केवल तकनीकी विषय नहीं है, हमारे लिए ये समानता और गरिमा का मूल अधिकार है. And as a non-profit think tank and under the able leadership of Mr. T.D. Dharyal, who is present there, who is also our executive director, we are working to remove the systematic barriers that prevent people's participation from accessing their basic rights and these spaces with equal dignity. Our work is actually structured into 5 pillars that I can briefly touch about and what we have really contributed. मैं वो शेयर करना चाहूँगा कि हम एक्सेसिबिलिटी लैंडस्केप में किस तरह से मदद कर रहे हैं और कैसे आगे मदद कर सकते हैं, और आप सबकी गाइडेंस भी चाहिए होगी. We all are together on same platform, following a common cause. So the first area of major pillar that we are focusing is policy and standards formulation. So ministries or statutory bodies के साथ we are working on development of various standards. We played active role in Harmonized Guideline 2016 on built environment, the NBC 2016 when we revised the IS 4963, the current standard on accessibility of built environment, जिसका फाइनल ड्राफ्ट तैयार हो चुका है और उसी ड्राफ्ट को NBC में एज इट इज लिया गया है. इट इज़ द इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड 4963 जो बिल्ट एनवायरनमेंट के लिए बना है. एंड मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि इसके बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस अभी हम नॉन मैंडेटरी स्टैंडर्ड्स के अंदर भी रिफ्लेक्ट होंगे. और एक और स्टैंडर्ड IS 17802 जो आप सब जानते हैं. दिस इज I happen to be on both of these committees. LID 35 जिसने IS 17802 बनाया और IS 4963 CD12 जिसने IS 1963 बनाया, NBC कमिटीज. इसके अलावा अभी भारत सरकार ने जो कमेटी बनाई है on after this Supreme Court judgment in Rajiv Roti matter, we are also facilitating that process in the built environment and we are very happy to contribute. बहुत सकारात्मक प्रभाव है इसका पूरे सेक्टर में और सब लोग उसको बड़े जोश के साथ इसको देख रहे हैं और हमें इस सरकार से बड़ी उम्मीदें हैं लोगों को. एंड सेकेंड एरिया इज अबाउट अवेयरनेस रेजिंग, जो हमारा मेजर प्लैंक है, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग एंड अवेयरनेस रेजिंग. हमने ये देखा अपने काम में कि जो बनाने वाले हैं, सी ऑडिटर्स विल बी लिमिटेड, हैंडफुल ऑफ अस. अभी करंटली फ्यूचर में ट्रेन करेंगे, उसके बाद भी लिमिटेड ही रहेंगे. जो मेन बिल्डर्स हैं वो है डिपार्टमेंट जिनको फॉलो करना है, जिनको इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. एंड आई स्ट्रांगली बिलीव द चेंज बिगिंस विद नॉलेज. So we conduct practical and policy oriented these training programs for government agencies, architects and planners. हमारी पार्टनरशिप है CPWD अकेडमी के साथ, नेशनल CPWD अकेडमी के साथ, जहाँ पर हमने अनेक सर्टिफिकेशन कोर्सेज करवाए हैं और hundreds of officers under the basic accessibility auditor training at the NCA, National CPWD Academy. It is creating pool of trained professionals across India in CPWD so that they can ensure कि उनके built environment accessible है. अभी एक सेशन अभी हमने मार्च के लास्ट 3 days में कराया है. So and it has trained about 13 senior officers trained as accessibility auditors. So this is, we also include these trainings in all induction courses, foundation training courses and refresher trainings that CPWD Academy organizes for their staff and for architects, engineers and induction. We are also proud to partner with Bureau of Indian Standards, उनकी ट्रेनिंग आर्म है, अकेडमी है आपकी NITS, National Institute of Training and Standardization, जहाँ पर हम सीरीज ऑफ 2 days कैप्सूल कोर्सेज ऑन एक्सेसिबिलिटी बिल्ट एनवायरनमेंट करवा रहे हैं. एक कल खत्म हुआ है जिसमें वी हैड सम वेरी गुड पार्टिसिपेशन एंड पीपल गेट a lot of exposure into what is accessibility really means when it comes to built environment. So we are equipping these officers. हम इसके अलावा we are also contributing to series of awareness sessions for lawyers, court staff, judicial officers, public prosecutors, member of accessibility committees in different district courts, and also at the Delhi Judicial Academy in their partnership. So this is about capacity building. हम promote कर रहे हैं through. We also do major accessibility audits and gap analysis. So I think we are the only agency that's doing accessibility audits for, I think a few more, who are doing audits for built environment as well as audits for the web accessibility, and we are happy to contribute that way. We are helping builders, we are helping mainstream organizations to ensure and adapt accessibility in truest sense. केवल लिप सर्विस ना करें, उसको पूरी तरह से मैंडेट को फॉलो करें, वो हमारा प्रयास है. Advocacy litigation, also we help in. We have a platform called disabilityrightsindia.com, and this helps disabled people on very simple issues. आप कैसे एक पिटिशन दायर करें सीसीबीडी ऑफिस में या एससीबीडी ऑफिस में, आप कैसे अपने राइट्स के लिए बोल सकते हैं, क्या प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, तो उस प्लेटफॉर्म पर आपको सारे जजमेंट्स और पिटिशंस मिल जाते हैं, लोग इजीली उसको फॉलो कर पाते हैं. So this is the primarily is our current focus, and we would love to focus more on other areas where the government wants our support. In closing, friends, we are limited time. I know the other speakers and we are closing, nearly reaching 11:30. So in closing, we at K Foundation believe that accessibility is not a favor. It's a matter of justice, dignity. We remain committed to accessibility. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vashisht. Your commitment towards physical accessibility is commendable. I now request the next speaker, Mr. Amar Jain, co-founder of Mission Accessibility, to share his valuable insights.
Dear friends, we have Mr. Amar Jain with us.
Mr. Amar Jain is a legal professional dedicated to improving accessibility and inclusion for persons with disabilities. His efforts are focused on advocating for policy changes, promoting universal design, and empowering organizations to adopt accessibility solutions.
The toughest task is when you have the shortest of the time and you have to say a lot of things. Good morning, everyone. Respected Secretary Sir, MD of SBI Foundation, Gunani Sir, Manmeet Ma'am, Vikas Sir, and all other respected guests and participants. Even one day of inaccessibility is one day too many. Sounds like a good line, but if you look at it in practical life, it impacts on a day-to-day basis. My dad was recently discharged from a hospital, and the discharge summary print was very small. The font size was very small. My dad was not in a condition to read it. My mom could not read it because the print was small. I finally worked with the hospital to get a readable copy in a soft copy form, PDF form, and then got the medicines ordered on the same day. If accessibility did not exist as a concept, it would have been impossible for persons with disabilities to overcome the systemic limitations imposed due to disability and still perform at par with others, right? Rahul and I were both working as corporate professionals. Rahul was in intellectual property rights. My co-founder, Rahul Bajaj, he's a Rhodes Scholar and a lawyer. I was a lawyer, corporate lawyer, working with law firms before. And we both were working individually on accessibility because it impacted our day-to-day life. From being able to use Citrix, from being able to use Adobe and many other inclusive tools that are used on workplace in a day-to-day life were not accessible, and we both were working individually. We decided to join hands in 2021. We started as a WhatsApp group called Mission Accessibility. We got law school volunteers to work with us, and we collaborated with many service providers to improve accessibility. We did social media outreach to generate awareness. We sent legal notices to those who did not respond, and we took few to court who either did not respond or gave wishy-washy responses. I would call it a fortune that in 2022 and when we incorporated Mission Accessibility as a Section 8 company, we also had such a supportive leadership at the DEPwD in form of Rajesh Agarwal sir, and then respective joint secretaries and other people within the department. We did 3 days workshop with the department and for its national institutes and RCI on web accessibility in March 2023. We also realized that ever since we started Mission Accessibility, while our core focus remained digital accessibility, because I did my CPWA Certified Professional in Web Accessibility in 2019, and that really remained our core focus. But there was a lot of need for competent legal representation for the issues that persons with disabilities were facing. So we started taking up cases of people with disabilities on low bono or pro bono basis, and started supporting in the areas of education, service law, discrimination, accessibility, and many others. We also started a pro bono helpline called Justice Connect, where both Rahul and I provide free pro bono legal advice to people with and without disabilities in the area of civil rights, which includes property law, family law, and many other civil areas which are important from our perspective for day-to-day life. We also realized that a lot of queries were coming to us in form of how to get UDID certification, if people were stuck in applying for it, or if people were stuck in assessments. So we started something called as CertLine, another helpline where people could call us on every Friday between 6 to 8 p.m. and we'll help them resolve their queries as regards UDID process. We also worked with Delhi High Court through a case filed by Rahul for making a movie called Pathan accessible, which led to formulation of guidelines on how to make films accessible to persons with disabilities, including audio description and captioning/sign language. That paved the way to make media content more accessible. We recently, through another legal intervention, got an advisory issued by Ministry of Information Broadcasting to make OTT content more accessible to persons with disabilities. The idea which remains central to us is that accessibility should not be an afterthought. It should be non-negotiable. It should come right at the start when we start building any product, service, or environment. I'm personally very pleased to say that I've had the fortune and opportunity to contribute to the Rajiv Raturi rules rule-making process, where we are working on how to make ICT more accessible and inclusive to persons with disabilities by defining the standards which are relevant. So overall, from our perspective, today I also wanted to announce one initiative that we are going to take today. It's going to be launched today, and the report is expected next year on the same Global Accessibility Awareness Day. We are calling it India Access Index. India Access Index will basically be a report card which will be published each year on Global Accessibility Awareness Day, where we want to highlight the status of 4 key themes to begin with: physical accessibility, ICT accessibility, media accessibility, and transport accessibility. What is the status of each of these pillars in India? This will also invite community to come with us and co-create that list of players who are doing good on accessibility, or players who are not doing good despite giving them positive feedback and assistance to change. So we call it Hall of Change and Hall of Shame. This report will of course have executive summary, detailed findings, and actionable recommendations so that people can work and resolve accessibility barriers. We also invite our own fraternity partners to collaborate with us on this important initiative. We invite philanthropists and CSR-based initiatives to come and fund and support this project so that we can really make a meaningful change. With the judicial proactiveness on accessibility, where the Supreme Court of India itself saying very recently that right to digital access is part of fundamental rights, and I was one of the fortunate petitioners to have intervened in that matter through my own writ petition. I'm very sure, and with corporates like SBI Foundation and others coming forward to support accessibility, I'm very, very sure that we can really bring a positive change in the future to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Amar. It was really great to hear about your initiatives and efforts. I now invite Shri T.D. Dharyal to please come and give the vote of thanks. Shri T.D. Dharyal is the president of NAP Delhi, person you all have been hearing about so much. He has 3 decades of experience as civil servant, including serving as Deputy Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities. Shri Dharyal is also an advisor at CBM, Executive Director at the CAPE Foundation, and a national consultant on disability issues for UNISCAP. Let's hear him now.
Dear friends, we have Mr. T.D. Zanjal with us. Please welcome him.
थैंक यू भावना. आप सबको मेरा नमस्कार. सो नाइस टू सी सो मेनी पीपल हियर. ये जो मुझे कहा गया कि वोट ऑफ थैंक्स दीजिए, अमरजन ने शुरुआत वैसे करी, बहुत ही कठिन है, बहुत ही मुश्किल है. आप सब लोगों का आभार प्रकट करना, आपको थैंक्स करना इज़ रियली 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 डिफ़िकल्ट. मैं जब कहूँगा, मेरे पास समय भी बहुत कम है, बिकॉज हमने मैडम मनमीत कौर नंदा, जो कि एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी हमारे डिपार्टमेंट की हैं, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट किया था वो भी बोलेंगे, लेकिन उन्होंने बोला नहीं, वी वुड लाइक टू listen to the technicalities, we would like to listen to the experts. सर, वो मैडम की इच्छा है. So starting with सर राजेश अग्रवाल जी, आप सब लोग उनके बारे में जानते हैं, और अब उस सब को इकट्ठा करेंगे तो शायद वॉल्यूम्स विल बी लेस. एंड मैं अपने दिल से जो मुझे अपने दिमाग में आया कि हाउ शुड आई थैंक हिम. आप किसी चीज़ के लिए जाएं और वो तुरंत यस, कौन भी जाए, जरूरी नहीं कि वो मिस धारियाल जाए या मैडम जाए या कोई जाए, एनीबडी फ्रॉम द कम्युनिटी. सो ट्रूली सर, ये मेरे दिल से आ रहा है कि ही हैपन्स टू बी the best friend of people with disabilities in our country, or globally I should say. And सोने में सुहागा है कि उनके पास चीफ कमिश्नर फॉर पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ का भी चार्ज है. एंड मुझसे ज़्यादा आप लोगों को पता है, एक्सेसिबिलिटी पे ही उन्होंने 155 departments and private organizations and all have been fined. ये बोल्डनेस किसी ब्यूरोक्रेट को बड़ी मुश्किल से, भगवान की देन है. अभी मैंने सुना कि 50,000 भी कुछ को लगा दिया जिन्होंने कॉम्प्लायंस नहीं किया, तुम्हारे वेबसाइट्स एक्सेसिबल नहीं है. What better can we expect for this day? कैट कि डिजिटल एक्सेसिबिलिटी, वेबसाइट एक्सेसिबल नहीं होने की वजह से फाइन लगा रहे हैं. अपने बहुत सारे सर के अपने फ्रेंड्स होंगे, बैचमेट्स होंगे. सो थैंक यू सो मच सर. मैडम मनमीत कौर, जब मैं गया था कि ऐसे करना है, इनफैक्ट आई रोड व्हाट्सएप सब लोग अगेन एक्सेसिबिलिटी, डिजिटल एक्सेसिबिलिटी क्विकली, मतलब वो कहीं मीटिंग में थी शायद दिन भर में, जैसे ही खुला होगा तो तुरंत उनने जवाब दिया, डिस्कस किया, सर से डिस्कस किया, वी टुक ए फाइनल डिसीजन. संजय प्रकाश सर, जब उन्होंने अपने स्पीच में बोला, इनफैक्ट सर ये आइडिया आप लोगों का था, हमें इतनी खुशी हुई कि आप लोग ये कह रहे हैं. एंड मैडम मनमीत ने भी ये बोला था कि SBI फाउंडेशन ये तो नहीं करते, ऐसी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस को तो फंड नहीं करते हैं. व्हेन आई मेंशन टू हिम कि हमारी मैडम ऐसे बोल रही थी, तो ही सेड कि ये एक्सेप्शन है क्योंकि डिसेबिलिटी का मैटर. सो वी शुड बी थैंकफुल टू यू एंड योर टीम सर. आपके VP साहब इधर हैं, बहुत तंग करता रहता हूँ, थोड़ा सा दिक्कत आती है, सब लोग बोलते हैं सर अब आपका नंबर आ गया, आप कहिए. कल IIC में भी मुझे ऐसे हुआ था, अपना चेक लेकर के मैं घर से आ रहा था, आई रीच्ड होम, इनका नियम है, कुछ कानून है, पैसा आने में टाइम लग गया, तो आई टुक आउट माई चेक, आई सेड आई विल पे. तो रास्ते में प्रशांत का टेलीफोन आ गया, नहीं सर आ गया, एंड दे वर ऑल्सो सो कोऑपरेटिव. IIC, थैंक्स टू IIC पीपल, मेरे 1,08,000 रुपये बच गए, वो मिल जाते मुझे वापस. बट देन तो ये सब चीज़ें, हाउ टू थैंक एवरीबडी. विकास सिंह इन द मिनिस्ट्री डायरेक्टर, मैडम DDG इधर हैं, मैडम शंकर, जसवीर साहब हमारे इधर हैं, Deputy Secretary, Tukaram, I don't know so many names and this thing, but then मेरे पास ये list है, मैंने list बनाई थी, Maitri, Tukaram, Prashant, led by Prashant, and Divya Dwivedi, बहुत सारे लोगों को मैं जानता हूँ, Krutika, Bhumika, all these from different organizations. What I saw is that they're working as if they're working in a war room. It was really like a war room. And माहौल भी ऐसा था, आप सब जानते हैं कि conflict हो रहा था. और मैं यहीं पे I think I should thank Almighty that a conflict खत्म हो गया, because उसकी वजह से हम सोच रहे थे how many people will be able to land. SBI Foundation itself in Bombay, whether they will be able to come here. So therefore, ईश्वर को हमारा बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है कि हम इधर बैठे हुए हैं. Yes, yes. So then digital accessibility आज इस कदर ऐसी कर दी गई हमारे देश में. आप वो भी देख रहे हैं स्क्रीन पे, पढ़ भी पा रहे हैं, जो सुन नहीं सकते हैं. ऑडियो डिस्क्रिप्शन भी उधर हो रहा है. वो हमने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था अपने नैब के एनुअल फंक्शन पे, पहली बार ऑडियो डिस्क्रिप्शन भी उसका कुछ डिटेल किया मैंने. प्रशांत अपना ड्यूरिंग द डे ही विल टेल हाउ विल डीड इट. सो थैंक्स टू द एवरी मेंबर. देयर आर 20 मेंबर्स. मैं एक ग्रुप बनाया इनका 15 में गैड का. सो 20 पीपल. इसमें सर ने बोला बनाइए आप ये बना करके. एंड यू नो most of the people you will see, the government of India, the Department of Empowerment of Persons, it is a different department. नहीं तो bureaucrats would not come. Can you imagine? हमारे पास स्टेज भी नहीं है आज. हमने थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट बनाया. Again, we thought we'll do this. We pushed it back. So, thanks to everybody. The speakers, Amar Jain, I will not name, everybody knows who the speakers are. We are so much thankful to you. And sign language interpreter, you are making it everything accessible to us. Secretary sir told us. IIC, thanks for your cooperation. Giving this venue, we are not getting anywhere. We got it, then ultimately they made exception for us. Like SBI Foundation made exception for us. So everybody came forward and helped us. And team, of course, Prashant, Bhumika, and all these APD collaborators. And also, I think the 3 C's were very, very on display. I could see that is cooperation, convergence, and coordination. Nothing better could be than this. I can't expect more than this. And again, department led by Rajesh sir. सर मैं कोई मस्का नहीं लगा रहा हूँ. इसे ट्रूली ये मेरे अंदर से अपने आप अभी आ रहा है कि इतनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आज MOU भी साइन होंगे. आज ये इतने लोग मिल रहे हैं, प्राइवेट सेक्टर से भी हैं, इतनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन साथ में आ रही हैं. सो इट्स अ वेरी वेरी लेस टाइम टू थैंक एवरीबडी. एंड अगर किसी का नाम मैं नहीं कह पाया, आप देखिए थे बैठे हैं निपमन फाउंडेशन के चेयरमैन, ये भी करेंगे हम आज यहाँ पे MOU. So it's a really a great day for us. Yes, we are committed to change. We have changed. We'll continue to change. It is not one-time process. We'll definitely do it. We'll achieve. And I wish that India becomes the best of the accessible global world. Thank you so much.
I thank Dharyal sir for a heartfelt thank you, thanking each and everybody. I am sure nobody would believe that he keeps telling us I am not a good speaker. Now we are thrilled to announce major milestones at today's summit. Firstly, we are excited to witness the signing of memorandums of understanding with the DEPwD and other organizations, which makes a powerful step towards enhancing accessibility and inclusivity across India. I am calling participants for the first MoU signing, the MoU with I for Humanity Foundation. Can I please have Ms. Juhi Rajput, founder I for Humanity, Secretary Shri Rajesh Agarwal ji, Director Shri Vikas Singh ji, and Manmeet Madam here on the stage for this signing of MoU. It is a non-financial partnership between DEPwD and I for Humanity Foundation to leverage external expertise, CSR resources, and grassroots engagement for advancing accessibility, awareness, and compliance with disability rights frameworks. The agreement aims to develop accessible built environment and transportation system.
Dear friends, the MOU will be signed now. The members are there on the stage. Our esteemed members are signing the MOU agreement. This is a proud moment for us. The MOU has been signed.
And now call upon for the signing of the next MoU with Nipman Foundation and Young Leaders for Active Citizenship. I call upon Mr. Rohit Kumar, co-founder YLAC and Nipman and Nipun Malhotra, CEO Nipman Foundation, to sign the MoU. This is a non-financial tripartite collaboration between DEPwD, Nipman Foundation, and Young Leaders for Active Citizenship to leverage external expertise, CSR resources, and grassroots engagement for advancing accessibility awareness and compliance with disability rights frameworks.
The MOU is being signed now. Our esteemed members are there at the stage signing the MOU.
I now call upon for the signing of third MoU with Ramp My City Foundation. I invite Mr. Prateek Khandelwal. This MoU is a non-financial partnership between DEPwD and Ramp My City Foundation to leverage external expertise, CSR resources, and grassroots engagement. The MoU focuses on creating barrier-free public infrastructure, including healthcare centers, tourist destinations, and government building. Ramp My City will mobilize CSR funds to implement accessibility inventions such as ramps, braille signage, and accessible toilets.
Dear friends, our third MOU is being signed now by our esteemed members.
And now we'll be witnessing Sarvam AI, a voice and WhatsApp-based AI chatbot developed by the department with Sarvam AI. Can we have the visuals for that, please? Sarvam AI. How do you spell it? SARVAM. Can we have Sahil here?
आज आपको डिसेबिलिटी सर्विसेज के लिए क्या स्पेसिफिक असिस्टेंस चाहिए?
मुझे एक लोन चाहिए था, मुझे
it's coming from there.
Thank you, Secretary Sir, for this opportunity. We will quickly demo this, and essentially the effort is to provide a clean interface and an intuitive interface for Divyangjan to be able to access schemes of the department. Sahil, why don't you do the demo?
Thank you, sir, ma'am, NAB, for giving us this opportunity to make a chatbot for Divyangjan people. What we are doing is the central government, the state governments, everyone has a lot of schemes for disabled people, but many a time there are almost 250 schemes that exist for Divyangjan people, but then they're not aware of what schemes are applicable for them. The idea was, can we make a bot, both voice-based bots, WhatsApp-based bot, that Divyangjan people can access and get to know about the schemes that are relevant for them. So we'll play a demo of the scheme of the bot that we are working on, but the main features of the bot are, it gives personalized scheme recommendation for Divyangjan people. So for example, if a person says, I'm 20 years old, and is there a scholarship scheme that is applicable that will help me in my college education? The bot will ask some basic questions around their family income, age, and then recommend some 3-4 suitable schemes that the Divyangjan person can look up at. Second, I think as Secretary Sir said, many times people might ask the bot multiple other questions. For example, what happened to my UDID application? Where is it stuck? Or I went to a place and it did not have the right accessibility platform. So can I file a complaint? So to handle these queries, the bot will also direct them to, for example, Sugamya Bharat app. Okay, so you have accessibility related complaint, please go to Sugamya Bharat app. Or if you want to file a complaint with CCPD, you can visit their website. So the idea is the bot gives a scheme recommendation to the user, at the same time also redirects them to the right other platforms which many department and NGOs are working on. Third, sometimes the bot might not be able to answer questions because it's an AI bot, evolving tech, and a person wants to know much more information. Then the bot will also redirect the person to the right helpline numbers. Be it, for example, scholarships, education, there are multiple helpline numbers functioning across the country by the department, by NGOs. The idea is the bot can give them the right numbers to talk to a human. And the one other feature of the bot is we support 10 Indian languages. So currently it's English, Hindi, but then the bot can answer in Bengali, Tamil, Telugu. The idea is it becomes accessible to all people across all regions of India. Yeah. Can we play the demo video?
मैं दिव्यांगजन सपोर्ट हेल्पलाइन से अनुष्का हूँ। आज मैं आपकी क्या हेल्प कर सकती हूँ?
हेलो अनुष्का जी, मैं मुंबई से बात कर रहा था।
आप मुंबई से हैं, मैंने नोट कर लिया है। आज आपको डिसेबिलिटी सर्विसेज के लिए क्या स्पेसिफिक असिस्टेंस चाहिए?
मुझे एक लोन चाहिए था, मुझे अपना एक बिजनेस खड़ा करना है, उसके लिए मुझे लोन चाहिए।
मैं ऐसी स्कीम्स ढूंढ रही हूँ जो आपको अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए लोन दे सकती हैं। आप अपनी डिसेबिलिटी के बारे में थोड़ा बता सकते हैं?
हाँ, मैं ब्लाइंड हूँ।
मैंने नोट कर लिया है कि आप ब्लाइंड हैं। मैं ऐसी स्कीम्स देखूंगी जो आपकी डिसेबिलिटी को देखते हुए आपके बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए लोन देने में हेल्प करें। क्या आपको अपनी एनुअल इनकम का रफ आइडिया है?
मैं अभी कुछ कमाता नहीं हूँ, इसीलिए मैं अपना बिजनेस शुरू करना चाह रहा था, तो नौकरी नहीं करता हूँ मैं अभी।
आप अभी अनएम्प्लॉयड हैं और अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं। मैं सूटेबल स्कीम्स सर्च करते टाइम ये ध्यान में रखूंगी। क्या आपको कुछ गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स रेकमेंड कर दूं? वो आपके काम आ सकती हैं।
हाँ, कर दीजिए।
मैंने सारी डिटेल्स नोट कर ली हैं और आपके लिए बेनिफिशियल स्कीम्स सर्च करूंगी। क्या आप कुछ सेकंड्स लाइन पर होल्ड कर?
One speed, तो आपको फास्ट लग रहा होगा. And idea is कि the bot can answer any follow-up questions. This is not like a IVRS जहाँ पे आपने hard code किया हुआ है. It's like the bot is able to understand what people is saying and then respond accordingly. And this will work both on voice and WhatsApp, ताकि किसी को WhatsApp पे भी use करना है, it can give answers on WhatsApp bot. So yeah, I think last slide. Yeah, so you can reach out to Karamji. It's in closed beta right now. We would be sharing the numbers of the bot next week in some WhatsApp groups where we would love for people to try out the bot and give us feedback. Yeah, so thank you, sir and ma'am, for giving us this opportunity in NAB and for choosing.
We are launching it formally in Bangalore on 30th.
On 30th of May at the event in Bangalore.
The 30th, obviously, entire team would be there. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
How would we know where in Bangalore? You're from Bangalore.
The event is on 30th in Bangalore. I think the invitations will. Yeah.
This is one aspect that you're talking about, the schemes which are there.
Yeah.
So I have two questions there. One is how you're getting data about these schemes and how you're making sure that it is well-updated data. Because for central government and state government, schemes are different, and many times when you look up at the website, you find outdated documents.
Yeah.
So how will you ensure that?
So we had Mukeshji who compiled the initial list of 240 schemes. Then we have Tukaramji from there's a team from the department that has been working to update the schemes and across all the parameters, what is the latest scheme guidelines, what are the eligibility criteria. So the idea is that as and when scheme gets updated, we can just update it in the backend and the bot will fetch the new information.
To add on to that, that for Government of India schemes, we are feeding the bot or the AI full guidelines. Many state government schemes are actually in regional languages also. For example, Tamil Nadu runs a lot of schemes and all the guidelines are in Tamil. Gujarat runs a lot of schemes, they are in Gujarati. So we have got initial partners to do that compilation, but we are running that through our entire SCPD network also. So we have shared this document across SCPDs and we got it vetted once. But you are right, many times the schemes go out of date, etc. So that will happen in a few cases. But that's why probably at some point the bot will also send out the URLs of those particular scheme guidelines on the state websites. So that, and the bot will at some point put a disclaimer also. कि आप एक्चुअली इस लिंक पे जाके मैंने लिंक आपको व्हाट्सएप कर दिया है कि ध्यान से देख लीजिए एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया और कि आप लेटेस्ट गाइडलाइंस खुद देख लीजिए.
So initially there will also be two people who will be scourging the websites over a period of time to update that data. But it is of course comes with a disclaimer of a particular data.
स्टेट्स का हमने एक इनिशियल राउंड SCPD से भी वेट कराया था, बट कहीं कहीं गलती हो सकती है. सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स लाइक यूनियन बैंक ने अपना
बैंकिंग सेक्टर और someone is innovating with these services in digital space. Like Swiggy ने कोई नया फीचर लेके आया है for persons with disabilities and they want to update this. So are you providing some SOPs for that?
यह एक गुड आइडिया. इसमें करते हैं कि नया कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर भी कुछ ला रहा है, कोई नए प्रोडक्ट्स ला रहा है, कोई लेटर से समवन हैज लॉन्च्ड ऑन पेड बेसिस गॉगल्स फॉर द ब्लाइंड विद AI, और कि हमारा बॉट अगर पूछ ले कि भाई कोई प्राइवेट प्रोडक्ट है कि मेरे लिए, मेरा बजट 10,000 रुपये का है, तो ये वो भी बता दे. कोई बोले कि मुझे ठीक है मेरी इनकम ज़्यादा है, मुझे गवर्नमेंट स्कीम में व्हीलचेयर नहीं मिलेगी पर मुझे अच्छी व्हीलचेयर चाहिए, कहाँ मिल सकती है मेरे शहर में, कौन सी कंपनी की मिल सकती है. तो इट्स अ गुड आइडिया. तो हाउ टू प्लग इन दिस प्राइवेट डेटा इनटू द स्कीम्स.
असिस्टेड डिवाइसेस प्रोक्योरमेंट रिलेटेड, उसमें लोग लोकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के थ्रू होती हैं वो. तो लोकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के दो चैलेंजेस हैं. जैसे वन कि वो अपनी अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड नहीं कर पाती हैं, और सेकंड एज अ यूज़र सॉरी मिक्स कर गया पॉइंट. तो फर्स्ट चैलेंज तो यही है उनका कि वो अवेयरनेस नहीं स्प्रेड कर पाती. तो सेकंड, अगर इससे यहाँ वाले इंटरफेस से इफ़ वी कैन हैव सच अ प्रोविजन कि मैं एज अ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अपनी स्कीम को अपलोड कर सकूँ ताकि सब तक इन्फॉर्मेशन पहुंच सके और यूजर्स उसका डायरेक्ट एडवांटेज ले सकें.
सर आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड टू दिस, एज अ यूजर मैंने कोई सर्विस यहाँ पे यूज़ करी और मैं उसका अगर फीडबैक भी देना चाहूँ कि वेदर द इन्फॉर्मेशन वाज करेक्ट एंड इट वाज यूजफुल फॉर मी और नॉट, मैं रेटिंग करना चाहूँ वैसा भी हो जाए तो इट विल बी हेल्पफुल सर.
बिल्कुल, वो हम बात हो रही है कि बॉट के बाद में आप बता दो ताकि बॉट की जो भी कमियाँ हैं वो भी बता दो, और हाँ तो बॉट और सुधरता जाएगा अपने आप जैसे जैसे फीडबैक मिलेगा डेफिनेटली. और दूसरा जो आपने बात कही कि हम प्राइवेट जो प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज हैं या NGOs के हैं, हाउ डू वी प्रमोट इट ऑन गवर्नमेंट नेटवर्क. हमारी वेबसाइट पे भी हमारी इंटरनल चर्चा हुई कि अभी हम सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स के बारे में बताते हैं. हम NGOs के बारे में अपना NGOs ब्रोशर चढ़ा सकें या प्राइवेट कंपनीज भी अपने ब्रोशर चढ़ा सकें, पर उसमें हम फिर बिना वेटिंग के करेंगे. कोई ये नहीं कहना चाहिए कि मैंने आपकी गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट पे आके ये व्हीलचेयर प्राइवेट वाले से ले ली, ये गड़बड़ निकली. या तो एनजीओ, ये तो बहुत ही बंडल टाइप एनजीओ है, आपने इसको कैसे स्पेस दे दिया? तो हाउ डू आई चेक कि बंडल एनजीओ की बहुत अच्छी एनजीओ है? सॉरी फॉर दिस लैंग्वेज बट इट्स अ वेरी मिक्स्ड बैग ऑब्वियसली. हाँ, थोड़ा सा
one
सो हाउ डू वी रैंक एनजीओज एंड हाउ डू वी ओनली पुट अच्छे एनजीओज का चीज़ डालें या अच्छे प्रोडक्ट डालें? आई डोंट नो बट डेफिनेटली ये नीड तो है.
Sir, on another note, there was a suggestion from Vivek that for some schemes, can we also know the eligibility of people beforehand and also do outbound calls to sensitize them that here you can get more and more information as schemes are updated. But
ये ना हम थोड़ा सा इंटरनल कर रहे हैं. नाउ आई हैव डेटा ऑफ 1.2 करोड़ यूडीआईडी कार्ड्स. उसमें अभी हमने मोबाइल कंपलसरी किया 6-8 महीने पहले से. सो प्रोबेबली देयर आर 40 लाख मोबाइल नंबर्स इन दैट डेटाबेस. लेट अस से कोई विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड लोगों की नई स्कीम आई, हमने एक्चुअली ट्राई आउट किया है टू सेंड बल्क एसएमएसेस आउट टू दोज यूडीआईडीज हु फिट इनटू दैट एज क्राइटेरिया, जेंडर क्राइटेरिया एंड एट्सेट्रा, और उनको उस चीज़ का बता सकते हैं. पर वही है कि लेट अस से समवन लॉन्चेस ए प्रोडक्ट फॉर विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड पीपल, दे टेल अस कि आपके पास इस एज रेंज में विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड इस परसेंटेज डिसेबिलिटी के लिए मेरा प्रोडक्ट फिट है. तो आपके डेटाबेस में ऐसे 4 लाख लोग हैं मोबाइल नंबर वाले, इन 4 लाख को एसएमएस आप भेज दीजिए. तो वैसा अभी हमने ट्राई नहीं किया प्राइवेट के लिए, बट दिस इज़ समथिंग विच डेफिनेटली वुड बी यूजफुल टू द कम्युनिटी एंड टू द कंपनीज एंड टू द एनजीओज. मे बी ऑन पेमेंट बेसिस जितना हमारा खर्चा आता है एनआईसी का, एसएमएस गेटवे का, मे बी वी कैन प्रोबेबली डू दैट. थोड़ा सा इसी पे जो धरियाल साहब और इनकी टेक्निकल टीम और प्रशांत वगैरह से बातचीत चालू है कि सुगम्य ऐप में ही ये चीज़ें, सो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट भी हो जाएगा कि आप भी अपना उस सुगम्य ऐप पे जाके एक बार अपना यूडीआईडी बता दो, सो द ऐप नोज कि आपका डिसेबिलिटी परसेंटेज, एज प्रोफाइल एट्सेट्रा, एंड देन यू कैन से कि मुझे इस टाइप की चीज़ों का नोटिफाई करते रहो, तो आपको अपने पसंद की नोटिफिकेशंस आती रहें. तो ये हमारी बातचीत चालू है. तो इसमें बिल्कुल, क्योंकि ये एक लेयरिंग है थोड़ा सा, गवर्नमेंट और इसके बीच में नैब ऑपरेट करेगा, तो सो प्राइवेट सर्विसेज को भी मे भी इस पे लोड कर सकते हैं. तो उसमें नोटिफिकेशंस आ जाएंगी बिना खर्चे वाली, और बाकी लोग भी परेशान नहीं होंगे एसएमएस से. तो यू कैन ऑप्ट इन कि मुझे इस तरह के नोटिफिकेशन आते रहे, आ जाएंगे. स्टूडेंट कैन से कि स्कॉलरशिप का जब भी लॉन्च होगा फॉर्म, तो मुझे बता देना, मुझे बार बार नहीं देखना पड़ेगा. जिस दिन आपकी वेबसाइट होगी आप कह देना बेटा फॉर्म भर ले स्कॉलरशिप का.
So I have a question. Is there any indication
Sorry,
when
who is
the
speaking from where? Acha, yes,
hello?
please. Yes.
Is there any indication for the user that they are speaking to a bot?
इसमें yes.
Yeah, that
पहले आप
because
जब कर रहे हो तो
हाँ, वो जब इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे, they should definitely clarify that they are not a human agent, that they are a bot.
True.
Yeah.
बिल्कुल.
We can say we are an AI assistant from the department. ऐसा करके we can say.
we've been seeing that work well.
Yeah.
हाँ, नहीं बिल्कुल करेंगे.
There's another initiative from the Mahindra Foundation where they're putting together a list of NGOs and a database of services that are being offered and products that are being offered, and they're in the process of building the database.
Yeah, in fact, we are working very closely with Chetan and his team and the Ability Network, all the people. I have attended 3-4 events with them also. And in fact, the list of helplines we compiled together, that has been fed into this bot also. So we are working very closely with them. Yeah, thank you so much. So this was impromptu session. So Dharyal ji ने ये तो फिगर आउट नहीं किया था इसमें, ये मैंने ज़बरदस्ती माइक पकड़ लिया.
Thank you so much, sir, Sarvam AI team. I now request everyone to please take a short break for tea. We'll join back exactly at 12:30. I request the volunteers to ensure that the tea break is a smooth and enjoyable one. Take their seats as well. बस होने वाला. I hope all of you had a refreshing but short tea break. Welcome back. We'll now start the next session, but before that, I'll now invite Additional Secretary Srimati Manmeet Kaur Nanda Madam to please come on the dais and address the audience.
A very good afternoon. So Secretary Sir has insisted today that I speak in front of the media and I speak in front of you. I think he is training us in other ways also. So thank you, sir. It is through your passion that we learn every day. In fact, जब हम office आते हैं, sir comes with a bundle of ideas, and at least my colleagues here, even Richa, will agree that at the end of the day, we are flummoxed that how much energy and passion he has for this sector. It is possibly not even possible for us to attain 10% of it, but even if we do 10% of it, we will manage to do something in our work. And I hope sir continues to motivate all of us like he does to all of you here. Accessibility, like many have referred today, is an extremely important issue. And when I entered into this department, I was baptized by fire. I was handed over the Rajiv Ratori case of the Supreme Court judgment, and I was told, please handle this. And the first day when I held a meeting, many of you may have been on that meeting virtually, and I was thoroughly ragged by many of you because I was told it is not an accessible platform. How is this kind of meeting done by a department who is working in accessibility? And thankfully, my parents brought me well, so I was humble enough, and not an IS officer, but I'm humbled enough to apologize there and tell them that I'm sorry, I did not know what this meant. It's just an anecdote to tell you that I am also learning what accessibility means to many of us in this room, many who have experienced it in their lives because of any kind of disability that they face, or have families and friends, many who have worked in this sectors and stakeholders. For me, it is a learning process, and every day I realize that the government can't solve it, one NGO can't solve it. It has to be the society that comes together, and it is events like this that bring us all together. There are ideas that came in. We were in our own silo working on Sarvam AI for the last 30 days, even more before Sir conceptualized the idea. But then we realized there are important things in that also. It is important for any person coming onto that platform to be told that you are talking not to a human, but to an AI bot. Very important. Because he should understand that the plasticity in that voice may depict human emotion to some extent, but not completely. So his or her reaction to that chatbot will completely change if you get to know about that. So we learn about accessibility every day in our life, and I think it's very important for we as bureaucrats, as people working in the system, to understand the requirements of accessibility in all its layers, whether it is physical, it's digital, it's audio, it's through the media platforms, it is through Sir's daily interaction with us, with stakeholders. In meetings, we realize how completely passive and ignorant we are as a group of bureaucrats or officers in this entire field of accessibility. आज भी हमारे डिपार्टमेंट से ऐसी कई डॉक्यूमेंट्स और लेटर्स निकलते हैं जो ऑप्टिकल recognized nahi hai. They are called as optical character recognition. And I have requested NAB, in fact only yesterday, telling him, Mr. Dharyal, that let's do a session, and I requested Richa madam here, that for our entire department, we will do a session on how to ensure that all documents that go out in the system, whether it is to a disabled person or not, they should all be they should be accessible in every format. And that training should not happen only for one day and not for just officers. It should be right from the section officer, ASO, MTS also if he's dealing with the computer, data entry operator, and we will repeat this every month for at least 3 to 4 months till it becomes a habit in our confidential sections also कि जब email जाएगा वो accessible होना चाहिए. Because everyone will not get baptized by fire like I did. Having said that, the interactions with stakeholders is always meaningful, though there is sometimes some noise that comes out where they also vehemently argue with us saying that you should have known this. I also want to use this platform to reach out to everybody here and whoever can hear me in this room and outside, that we are also learning and growing with you. We also believe in the spirit of accessibility, and we want to, with events like these and with discussions like these, take this requirement of understanding accessibility in our personal, professional lives, in all our mediums, far and greater, and make sure that one day India also should be regarded as a country who is way ahead in terms of the accessibility index. I fear today that Amar will come up with an index next year with the 4 pillars, again with media taking separately and communication, transport, etc. And we will not fare very well in terms of his index, but I believe the trajectory will only go upwards, Amar. And I think that is what we need to surely put our intent to, that we are positively inclined to ensure that accessibility only increases for each one of us. I thank you all for coming here, participating here, and making this event as meaningful as it requires to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. I now announce the beginning of the next session, which is the panel discussion on inclusive mainstream technologies. We have our panelists and the moderator here. Let me introduce them to you. We are happy to have Shri Sunil Abraham ji moderating this session. He is the Public Policy Director for Meta Economy and Emerging Technologies at Meta India. He has been a prominent advocate for digital rights, privacy and open source software. His work focuses on shaping policies around data privacy, AI innovation, and emerging technologies. Our panelists are Mrs. Madhubala Sharma, Disability Inclusion Leader, Asia Pacific, Japan, and China and Mid-East Africa, Amazon. Ms. Madhubala Sharma leads accessibility initiatives at Amazon, focusing on developing inclusive experience for persons with disabilities. She is also a renowned public speaker. We have Mr. Ketan Kothari with us, who is the managing consultant programs at Xavier's Research Center for the Visually Challenged, a passionate disability rights advocate with decades of experience in promoting inclusion and accessibility. We have Dr. Piyush Channana from National Center for Assistive Health Technology, IIT Delhi. He's a key researcher at IIT Delhi's National Center for Assistive Health Technology. His work spans the development of innovative assistive devices and inclusive technologies, including solutions aimed at enhancing mobility, communication, and independence for persons with disabilities. We have Mr. Rahul Gambhir, Chief Manager, Union Bank of India. He is a senior banking professional at Union Bank with a strong commitment to financial inclusion. He has actively contributed to making banking services more accessible for customers with disabilities through policy innovation and staff sensitization. We have Ms. Prerna George, Product Manager, Yes to Access APD. She has completed BSc in Economics from Nova Schools of Economics, Lisbon. Prerna currently works at the APD Foundation and also leads the digital accessibility piece within the Yes to Access project. She has also anchored the product development, and management process of the Yes to Access app. This session, I request, let's end this session in 50 minutes. In 40 minutes, 10 minutes we'll be having questions and answer session. We would try to include some online questions as well. Now over to sir.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar aap sabhi ka. Myself Khair, and I'll be doing the audio description for the session. A very warm welcome and a sunny afternoon to all of you to the Inclusive India Summit on the occasion of Global Accessibility Awareness Day. As we move on to our panel discussion on inclusive mainstream technologies, a conversation about making everyday digital towards accessible to all, regardless of the ability. I will take a minute to describe a scene for our visually impaired audience. At the center of the stage stands a podium placed between two large vertical screens, and next to the podium our respected panelists and moderator are seated. Behind the podium is a backdrop with the event title Inclusive India Summit Global Accessibility Awareness Day. To the left and right of the podium, two large screens are mounted. Both of them show live video feed of Manisha, our Indian Sign Language interpreter, who is also physically present on the stage. She stands to the right side, actively interpreting the session in sign language. Now request the moderator to step up to the podium to begin the session.
Okay, so with your permission, but Secretary Agarwal, Additional Secretary Nanda, dignitaries from SBI Foundation, NAB, APD, and Mission Accessibility, friends and colleagues, thanks for making time for this conversation this afternoon. Initially, this was supposed to be a 1 hour, 30-minute conversation, but I've just been told I have 50 minutes, so that's not very much. I'd make one more sort of housekeeping announcement, or perhaps two. Ketan is stepping in for Deependra Manocha, who's not able to join us because of personal circumstances. And Prerna is replacing Bhumika Mode, who is on the agenda. So those are just some housekeeping announcements. I'll go straight to Madhubala with my very first question. Unfortunately, Madhu, I haven't had the privilege to meet you personally and say hello. But my question is, what is Amazon's philosophy when it comes to accessibility? How do you prioritize and measure the progress you are making at Amazon? Over to you, Madhu.
Wow, thank you so much, and absolutely a pleasure to be here amongst the panelists who some of them are friends, I know them, and great experts who are actually leading the way for accessibility. Congratulations to all of us for celebrating GAD, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and the philosophy of Amazon that actually indicates in we not just celebrating GAD, but celebrating GAM, Global Accessibility Awareness Month. This year we are celebrating the 10th GAM, where we have events around the globe spreading awareness on accessibility, digital infrastructure. And also we have various panel discussions, we have training programs, we have awards and recognition, recognizing the contribution of accessibility that people make to Amazon and beyond. Our philosophy truly is in following that customer is at the heart of what we do, and we want to be the Earth's most customer-centric organization. That's what we believe in, and that's what we intend to follow. And at Amazon, we firmly believe that accessibility is not our responsibility alone. It's collective responsibility. So in doing so, what we do basically is we have, number one, we have customer service, where customers' feedback is taken and incorporated into whatever we do. Number two, we do a lot of training programs to help people understand what are the standards of accessibility to be followed. Three, we regularly conduct accessibility audits for infrastructure and digital accessibility. We have, and then make modifications in accordance with that. We also have accessibility teams working on fixing the gaps that there may be, whether it's in the infrastructure, whether it's in the apps or websites, or whatever it may be. And the good thing is that we have people with disabilities working in creating and building that experience. We also have partnerships with a lot of organizations like Disability In, a global organization, or Business Disability Forum, Disability Network. And in India, we have MoUs with the government, with DEPwD, with Skill Council, with various state governments as well for upskilling and employment of people with disabilities, and accessibility, of course, lies in the heart of it. From the hiring process to retention, we foster inclusion. That's what we focus on. In fact, as a leader on for disability inclusion, also of the people with disabilities employee-led group, we ensure that there is accessibility of communication too. These days we are running a campaign called AIM, Accessibility in Minutes, where we actually teach everyone on how to make our communication accessible. Why accessibility in minutes? Because a lot of the times we feel that, oh, it takes an extra effort to make something accessible. Why do we go such an extra mile? You know, we say, just spend a minute and you'll be able to make your document accessible. Put your document through check for accessibility. Put your email through check for accessibility and make it accessible. We run it top down. We have our executive sponsors from the India leadership team championing accessibility for us and leading initiatives for inclusion and accessibility. There's lots that I can talk about, but for now, this is what our philosophy truly is, to ensure that there is accessibility for all, not as an afterthought, but as a built-in. Because if we think accessibility afterthought, that would be a reactive approach. But when we think accessibility from the start, it's a proactive approach, and it's a built-in and born inclusive, born accessible approach. So that's how we look at accessibility.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madhu, for that. I found it particularly interesting that at Amazon you fix accountability on teams and you have accessibility teams, and also that it is not an afterthought, that it is part and parcel of the very first step. So from a big tech company, I'm going to shift gears to academia. And Piyush, if I could come to you, since academics are often at the bleeding edge of the future, could you tell us what new developments in the world of assistive technologies you are most excited about, and that you would like to share with this group, and how do we ensure that these new technologies are rapidly diffused in a country like India? Over to you, Piyush.
Good afternoon, everyone. So first is obviously the advances in AI. As we can see here, a lot of people are wearing today meta glasses. So it has completely changed the way, as a blind person, you perceive the world around you. So that is one side where mainstream technology companies like Microsoft, Google, and Meta, and similar others, many others, have developed solutions for the mainstream platforms. So this has made a lot of things accessible, solvable. But what we are looking at are three important aspects which are still unsolved. First is recent advances in the technology which was being used in defense and robotics specifically. Those sensors are becoming low cost. Those technologies are becoming available in the market. So can we look for solutions around that, and can we reimagine the way the world can be perceived? As an example, like all of you must have seen that dog in the robotic dog during IPL matches. So nobody in India is using the guide dog, but there is a dog which is responding to you, doing things according to you. So those things are becoming very low cost. So that is one area where we are looking at. Second important area is AI is available on mainstream platforms, but it is not available on low-end devices. See, I want to develop something which will be with the person all the time. There, I will not be able to use Windows system. I want a low-end, low-cost embedded processor. Can I train train my AI model to be ported on that, where the memory is very less, the processing power is less, the power battery backup and all those constraints are there. So that is second important area that we are excited about. Third, and the most neglected, I feel, the area is low tech area. Nobody talks about that. When we were child, thousands of options were available to us during education time, that I can just go to market and buy a pencil or a pen of my choice. But if I am a person who is having difficulty in holding a pen, where are the options for that student? No such options exist. Similarly, if I'm a blind person, where my stylus is so monotonous, there is no innovation in that. If I'm a low vision person, there is no copy for me. The point is that these are the things which are laying out the foundation. So one side we have to go really high tech, but at the same time we have to go really low tech also, and give equal importance to solutions and innovations there, so that we can reach a stage where we have a very strong foundation and people are trained enough to adopt the technologies, which answers to the second part of the question. The biggest challenge in adoption is that the weaker foundation. So you can create simple interfaces to ensure adoption, but at the same time, foundation has to be really strong.
Thank you, Piyush, for that very nuanced meditation on that question. I like what you said about taking advantage of computing on the edge and ensuring that, I don't know whether I would call that low tech, because I think you need to be rather sophisticated to make a large language model work on a mobile phone or work within 1 GB. So I still consider that bleeding edge or advanced technology, if you may. But thank you so much, Piyush. I want to come to Ketan now, and Ketan reminded me that both of us know each other for some time now, from perhaps the early days of the Right to Read campaign. You have this perhaps as the main mission of the center, which is to help technologies get mainstreamed. So how do you think of that question in 2025? You've been doing this for some time now. So in 2025, how has the answer to that mainstreaming question changed?
Thank you. 1 minute. I don't know. Is it on?
Yes.
Thank you, Sunil, and thank you to NAB Delhi, Prashant, and APD and all the hosts for giving us this opportunity. We at the center have always believed that at the Xavier's Resource Center for Visually Challenged, although now we work for all disabilities, not only the visually challenged community, but we believe that mainstream technology has to have accessibility for a very simple reason, that lasting of that technology is ensured. Specialized technology is good, but firstly it becomes more expensive because obviously the turnover of the technology is limited, and also its survival is very limited because the crowd that it serves is going to be limited. So it is very important that more and more of mainstream technology becomes accessible. I still remember, and I'm happy that Madhu is sitting on my right, Amazon, when they made their Kindle app accessible, I think it was 2012, May, if I remember correctly. And I remember that very early morning, Friday, I was traveling to Pune from Mumbai, and I had a notification from some mail group that Kindle has become totally accessible for the blind on their phones. And I was so excited to download it and buy a book, irrespective of whether the book was of any help to me, just to try it out, that is it true or am I dreaming? And today I can buy any book that I want, contemporary book, unlike earlier times when I had to wait when the book is brailled and when I will be able to read it, and by which time nobody talks of that book. So today I can be with the public. So mainstream technology is where the world has to lead, and our advocacy has to go that way. And I'm very happy that after Mr. Agarwal is taking over as secretary, Government of India has also made immense efforts to make accessibility kind of a mission. And it is this that is really heartening for all of us, that today we are not alone. Government is with us. They are trying their best to make things accessible. I know it's going to take time, but at least the effort is there, the willingness is there, and that gives lot of heart. And XRCVC believes that we need to give mainstream society more and more training and make them aware. Because see, no point in talking to converted people. I mean, if you and I and Madhu know accessibility, we are going to talk about it because that's our need. But it's the person on the street that has to know what is accessibility, and we have to simplify accessibility so that people will be interested to make things accessible and make alliances across the board. Like, if you make things accessible for blind community or orthopedically disabled community, are there not other groups that will be using it? For example, if built environment is accessible, women with pregnancy, senior citizens can use it. If things are accessible in reading, then again the senior citizens can use it along with the blind and the low vision people. So we will have to build alliances across board to make things accessible and get mainstream technology accessible. To me, the most universally accessible device, which is a mainstream device, unfortunately the cost is also inaccessible, but the device is the most accessible, is iOS devices like Apple iPhones or iPads. I have yet to see any other device that is so accessible, but only problem is the price is inaccessible. So that one will have to do something about, but we will need such devices, and we at the center will be more than happy to work with mainstream corporates if they want their devices to be made accessible, such as microwave ovens or washing machines, because many of us live independently alone. Like my wife and I are both blind. So if we don't have accessible things, we are lost. So Sunil, the last word on this subject for me is that mainstream accessibility is the way forward, and government and the stakeholders, the opinion makers will have to help us reach there so that we spend less and get more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ketan. I think everybody would have appreciated that mini masterclass in economics and disability policy. I think almost everything you said I completely agree with. But I want to now go to Rahul and pick off from where you left, Ketan. Last year at Meta, I had a group of engineers speak to families of persons living with ALS in India, because they were curious about eye tracking technology and also the technology that is able to directly read magnetic waves from your hands and so on. I forget the name. MEG, I think, is the name of that technology. But Rahul, as somebody working at a bank, your problem is huge. It is all sorts of disability. You have no idea what kind of hardware these people have, but you have to be as inclusive as possible. Union Bank of India has done several things, such as the Union Access Platform and Sparsh debit card and the accessible WhatsApp banking. But how do you approach this really big problem statement, and how do you divide it between online, offline, urban, rural, and any other ways you divide the problem statement? Over to you, Rahul.
Yes, thank you, sir. So, before I start, I would like to walk you through two situations that are real situations and that, involves the persons with disabilities on daily basis. Number one, I had to select a school for my daughter way back in 2020. I chose a school which had disability inclusion as one of the core philosophies. And I was just going through the websites of various schools, and one school I found out that they celebrate IDPD, and they have been celebrating IDPD, International Day of Persons with Disabilities, since 2008. So I selected that school, and my daughter is going to that school. Now, fast forward in 2025. The school introduces a platform wherein all academic information about the daughter of my daughter would come through online mode, and the fees would be paid online. Now the entire portal remains usable with assistive technology, but the last step of that portal, wherein I have to enter my debit card and the debit card details, has a CAPTCHA. Now think of the scenario that the school is doing good, and I'm able to access everything, but I'm not able to make the payment of school fees. I'm stuck there. I'll talk about the solution, what happened to this story in the later part of my talk. Let's come to the second part of my second story.
Yeah, I was there from the start, but I didn't finish it.
Okay. So the second story is of one of the HCL engineers who had worked with Google in past and few more big companies, and he decided to change his vehicle and buy a new car. He decided the best car with best AI features, the app accessibility, whether he's able to track the car with the app or not. He goes to the dealership, decides the car, and at the end, he realizes that I need to take a car loan as well. So he approaches one of the leading public sector bank in India, goes to the branch and asks, see, I want a car loan because you are offering the car loan on lower rate of interest. The answers he gets is like, a blind person cannot get a car registered in his name. The second branch tells him that we cannot give a loan to a blind person because we doubt the repayment capability of that person. So think of those situations. Again, how we solve this, we'll share that as well. So these are something, very common, very small things for a person without disability. You must be navigating to these situations very easily. But for a person with visual impairment, if digital accessibility and awareness are not ensured, so such more stories we'll hear every now and then. Coming to the core question, what Sunil sir asked regarding what we are doing at Union Bank of India, due to the philosophy, nothing for us without us, the Union Bank of India has been able to make, since last 3 years, few landmark accomplishments. So to give you the example, in area of digital accessibility, the bank has ensured that accessibility is not an afterthought. It comes from the design stage. When we engage with the team McKinsey, who is designing and drawing the design of the digital products, which coders will be designing at the later stage, we are ensuring the touch target size should be as per WCAG. We are ensuring that the back button should be provided on all the screens. Now what does that translates to? It translates to better user experience, enhanced accessibility for persons with disabilities, eventually translating to business opportunity for the organization. Now how do we do this? So we have developed in-house capability, as Sunil sir was mentioning. Union Access is name of the project which I lead at organization. The team has 4 people who are doing the regular digital accessibility audits of existing channels. We are ensuring that the accessibility is embedded in the procurement cycle, and the RFPs which bank issues has a clause on IS 17802 compliance. To talk about the products that bank has launched with accessibility features since last 3 years, because only saying that we are doing this thing, we are implementing accessibility will not suffice. So we have to show something. So one, we are the first bank to come up with the accessible CBDC, central bank digital currency. Most of you must have heard of it. Reserve Bank of India's pilot project on digital currency. The bank launched the accessible CBDC app on the bank's foundation day. Now, why I'm mentioning this? The foundation days of the organization is something when the organization comes out with the maximum press releases, customers, HNI customers are watching us, all staff members are watching us. So we are not only launching the apps with accessibility, but we are sensitizing the society as well. The bank has got more than 3 crores of customer base with email IDs, right? 3 crores of customer base with email IDs. So on those email IDs, when bank sends an email on the occasion of Global Accessibility Awareness Day about the digital offerings of the organization, that not only provides a business opportunity to the organization, but sends a clear-cut message in the society that see, digital accessibility is part of the core values that organization is implementing. The Sparsh debit card, now that has become an old story, because that was the first problem statement we wanted to solve, because every time we heard that we are the customers with visual impairment are denied with the debit card. So we came up with the India's first Sparsh debit card, and we feel happy to share that that card has been replicated by other banks, and similar card has been, with different names has been announced by other banks as well. Apart from this, for hearing impaired customers, we have a dedicated WhatsApp number, as in the bank's WhatsApp number has the features that persons with hearing impaired can easily access the service, and that is the most inclusive service that we offer to our hearing impaired community. The WhatsApp channel also provides customers to get in touch with the Union Access team. In the remotest part of Buldelkhand, if someone is not able to access and avail the banking service, or someone in Pune or Jalgaon is not able to get the debit card, he immediately goes to the WhatsApp number of the bank, tells us, writes an email to us, to Union Access team, and we ensure that the service is delivered. Not only delivered, all sensitization is done, training is done to ensure onboarding of the digital channels of the bank. So there are many more initiatives which I think I'll be talking in the later part of my talk. Yes, over to you, Sunil sir.
Thank you so much, Rahul. I think several inspiring examples from Rahul, and what I liked in particular was that other banks began to adopt your best practices around the Sparsh debit card. So often all you need for mainstreaming are powerful exemplars in the system. I'll come to you now, Prerna, and building off the slogan that Rahul used, which is nothing about us without us. How do you solve for that slogan when you're developing a mobile app that has both, I'm assuming, disabled and non-disabled users? How do you design such an app, and if you were to redo exactly what you did, would you change something about what happened at APD, or would you do everything exactly the same? Over to you, Prerna.
Thank you. So for those who don't know about Yes to Access, it is a AI-powered app that allows for the checks of accessibility features in different buildings and locations through the use of crowdsourcing. So it took us only about 8 months to actually build the app, but before that it was about a year and a half of trying to see if this would be a solution that would work, if markets would respond to it, if people with disability would even use it, and if the larger public would also use it. So I was talking to different types of people about how the design should work and how it shouldn't. So the use case was twofold. So it's one, people with disability who would be using the information that was available on the app. And the second one was volunteers who would go and map out spaces. And also to what Dr. Piyush said, we strive to make sure that the lowest cost phone could sustain the technology, even though it was AI-based. This all made for quite a mix of problems that could potentially arise as we bring out an app like that. But in terms of how do you design for both people with disability and people without disability, simplicity is the way that we took. So we decided, let's make it simple, make it intuitive, make the design as easy to use as possible, because we wanted people who didn't know anything about accessibility to be able to download and use the app, and for the information to be given in the best way for people who needed that information. In terms of what I would do differently, we actually had someone else, a third party, build the technology that powered that app. And they were incredibly proactive. They were so empathetic, and they went above and beyond. However, when it came to awareness, we did run some awareness sessions prior to actually starting the development, and they came frequently to our offices. But even then, even with that teaching, there were so many points in those 8 months that we had to redirect just a little bit. And that delayed the process of making that app, right? So I think what we would do differently is that we would have spent a much longer time teaching them what makes that app accessible. What does it mean to have accessibility? Because one of the things that we realized even in the process of design was that accessibility is based on where the client wants it, right? When we talk to software developers, website developers, construction people who work in construction, they'll be like, we can do it, we know how to do it, but it's only if the client wants it that we will incorporate it. So I think what was glaring to us was accessibility is functionality. It is your entire customer base, and you need to have it from the get-go. And I would have stressed that much more in the development process. So now it is accessible, but we had to keep redirecting that. Yeah.
Friends and colleagues, I've had another question for each of my panelists, but I think since we have about 20 minutes left, perhaps it's better that I open it out to everybody for questions and comments. And if some of our panelists don't get a question from the participants, then I can use one of the questions that I have in my notebook for them. I would request all panelists to keep your responses short so that we can take as many questions as possible. There's a gentleman right up in the middle of the room with his hand up. Maybe I go to him first.
सुनील अब्राहिम सर, आपको मैंने ईमेल करी थी एसेसिबिलिटी के रिगार्डिंग मेटा के, ठीक है, ध्यान कर लीजिएगा, मतलब एसेसिबिलिटी की, ठीक है। सेकंड, लाइक जो मधु मैम है मेटा वाली, उनको लाइक मुझे जानना है कि कहता अमेज़ोन वाली क्या एसेसिबिलिटी आंसर डेस्क है कोई, मतलब जिस तक हम कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं? और जो अमेज़ोन की सेलिंग वाली वेबसाइट है उसके ऊपर क्या इमेज डिस्क्रिप्शन होता है इमेज का? और जो OTT प्लेटफॉर्म है like Netflix is much better than audio description and transcription subtitles in terms of movies. Like what are you doing of movie accessibility in terms of Amazon that web app?
Thank you for that question. और आपका नाम क्या है? Sorry. आशुतोष. आशुतोष, आप आशुतोष से ईमेल चेक कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू आशुतोष इस क्वेश्चन के लिए. पहली बात तो ये कि मैं खुद एक पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी हूँ और मैं खुद टोटली ब्लाइंड हूँ. जो अमेज़ॉन में जो चैलेंजेस, एक तो हम सब जर्नी पर हैं जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, तो मैं ऐसा नहीं कहूँगी कि हम एक्सेसिबिलिटी की परम सीमा को पार कर चुके हैं, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. हम अभी प्रोग्रेस कर रहे हैं, गैप्स हैं और उस पे फोकस ज़रूर हो रहा है. इमेजेस वेबसाइट्स पे, प्रोडक्ट्स के इमेजेस पे डिस्क्रिप्शन होने पे मेरा खुद का खासा इंटरेस्ट है और ये हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इसमें इमेज डिस्क्रिप्शन हो. कई जगह पे अवेलेबल है और कई जगह पे डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑटोमेटेड भी है जो आपको ऑटोमेटेड शॉपिंग सजेशंस देते हैं. प्राइम पे भी कई जगह पे ऑडियो डिस्क्रिप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं, आने लगे हैं. आई वुडंट से हर जगह हैं, बट एट पार अभी आ रहे हैं. सो दैट इज़ हाउ आई लुक एट इट. थैंक यू.
एक पॉइंट ऐड करता हूँ आशुतोष, छोटा सा, कि जब भी तुम्हें ऐसी दिक्कत है अमेज़ॉन पे तो सिंपलेस्ट है, तुम एज ब्राउज़र के साथ काम करो, तो एज में ही तुम्हें राइट साइड में ऊपर ऑप्शन मिलेगी को पायलट की, ठीक है, उसको खोल के रखो और जहाँ पे तुम पेज ओपन करो और उसके बाद उस पेज से रिलेटेड जितने सवाल पूछना चाहते हो, इसमें क्या इमेज है, इसमें ये कैसा दिख रहा है, इसमें इसकी स्पेसिफिकेशंस क्या हैं, वो सवाल वहाँ पे को पायलट में डालो, वो तुम्हें पूरा पेज का समराइज करके दे देगा। तो कोई भी वेबसाइट वो कितनी भी इनएक्सेसिबल हो, फिर भी तुम्हें 60-70% एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी।
Thank you. Thank you, Ashutosh, for your question.
That helped me also.
I think AI also offers a big opportunity with auto generation of alt text labels. That is another big opportunity that we should see, and increasingly scene description also through AI should become possible for video content. And fortunately for us, AI is loose coupling. That means you can put the model you like. If you don't like the Americans, you can put a French model, and if you don't like the French, you can put a Chinese model. So increasingly that is also possible for users. We will take the second question. The gentleman in front of me, Rahul, if I remember your name correctly.
May I ask a question?
I'll come to you, sir, but can I go to Rahul? And I think we have some questions online as well. So maybe we'll take two questions, one from you, Rahul, and then we'll come to you, sir, and then also perhaps quickly take an online question if there is one.
Hi, my name is Rahul. So my question, probably I have two questions though, but let's pick the first one with Madhu from Amazon. Ma'am, I've done a research last year where I found that 1,000 top 1,000 organizations, and I'm talking about the BSc top 1,000 organizations. We have less than 0.5% of people, employee base of that organizations with people with disability. I understand that Amazon and there are many more organizations which are doing fabulous work in this direction. But if you have to tell, going to the simplest level of how they can build in inclusion in their organizations, and so what will be that one or two things that you will tell all the organizations to start from?
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul, for the question. Madhu, I'll come back to you. I'll take a couple of more questions. I hope all questions are not for Madhu.
Okay.
You, sir, why don't you? 1 second, we need... if mic for the online people will need mic.
Most of what we're talking is largely urban centric, whether you like it or not. Take, for example, the bank, you're talking about debit cards, you're talking about all these things. But in the rural areas, people use the ATMs quite a lot. But there have hardly been any kind of accessibility implementations of ATM infrastructure today. And rural folks, for example, what do they use for accessibility? Well, we can imagine what we can use in the urban sector and what has been done for the rural sector.
Okay, Rahul, I want you to remember that question. I'm going to take one more question from Tina online. Tina Sehgal, could you unmute and ask the question, please? Tina, can you hear us?
Can we unmute her?
Okay, maybe Tina, if you can put it on chat, then I will try to read the question from chat. But we can now quickly go to Madhu first and then Rahul.
Yes. Thank you for that question. I will try to keep it short. If I understood your question correctly, Rahul, your question is, what would be my advice in a way, in the simplest form, to embed disability inclusion? Is that correct? Okay, thank you. So my suggestion is to ACE it, use ACE. ACE is an acronym. Kahin likha nahi hua hai, mera hi banaya hai. ACE it, the word ACE means you master it, crack it, right? Follow ACE. What does ACE stand for? A stands for anticipate needs of everyone. Anyone and everyone. A lot of the times when we do something, we anticipate basis or we build basis what we think is right. So expand your horizon. Now that takes me to the second letter, which is C. Do not anticipate sapne mein, right? Don't dream like, oh, I dreamt that this person might need this. No. C stands for collaborate with people with disabilities. Nothing about us without us. So collaborate with us, involve us in the decision making, in the building process from the start. And E stands for embed it at the base. Embed it in the design. Whatever you may do, whether you're thinking of a hiring strategy, onboarding strategy, software building, hardware building, embed the accessibility and inclusion at the very beginning. If you're able to follow ACE, you can ace it. Thank you.
Rahul, can we hear from you now?
Yes, and I must thank for this question because this is very important, because what we are discussing here in this room and what we discuss in the boardrooms of the organization should percolate towards the downwards, and yes, most importantly, the rural part of the country. I agree on that. And yes, while working, we keep this thing in mind. I will tell you the biggest barrier is not the accessibility barrier in this world. The biggest barrier is the attitudinal barrier, right? So we are working on how do you work on this attitudinal barrier? Because the guidelines existed since long time. RBI came out with the first circular on providing banking services to the persons with disabilities way back in 2010. 2008. And in 2006, CCPD said that persons with visual impairment are legally competent to contract. So guidelines existed since 2006-8, and it has been reiterated several times. The major problem becomes the implementation part of it. And in the implementation part of it, the major challenge is the attitudinal barrier. Now, how do we solve that? We solve it, at Union Bank of India, we have around 8,000 branches, which are located in the nook and corner of the country. So we have an e-learning system wherein we ensure that staff members are imparted proper learnings. I was sharing this case of one of the HCL employee who was denied the car loan. We use that as one of the case study that, see, this is the problem statement which our organization is facing in the rural part of the country. It was an urban example, but I was very sure that in rural area the situation would be worse. So we use that as an opportunity to introduce an e-learning on disability laws and banking laws for persons with disabilities. And we are trying, we have not achieved that so far, we are trying to make that one of the mandatory module for all staff members. So this will solve problem. The second part you pointed out regarding the accessibility of the ATM. So Talking ATM was launched way back in 2012. Now it's been 13 years since first Talking ATM was launched. Truly Accessible ATM was launched. Fortunately, it was launched by Union Bank of India, though I was not part of that initiative, but I'm blessed that I'm part of the same organization who came up with the first Talking ATM. Now the guidelines remains in force and SOPs are in force to use the accessible ATMs. I would like to give a different angle to this story. There are many persons with disabilities and visual impairment who have not tried exploring about how to use a Talking ATM. In this room also, there would be many who have not used Talking ATM independently till date. So my appeal to each one of us to please use the services, those are designed for us, give the feedback to the service providers so that services can be improvised, improved, scaled up and sustained. And yes, the second story which I was sharing regarding the school, let me close that as well. The CAPTCHA SB is in process of getting removed. School has agreed, and probably I will be able to make the fee payment independently once they take up with the payment partner. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think, sorry, Ketan wanted to add to this. Can I let Ketan add? Ketan?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I just wanted to add to what Rahul said, and this has been my experience ever since Right to Read campaign, and XRCVC, as we all know, was one of the leading agencies who got the copyright amendment through in this country, including the draft itself of the actual amendment that has come through. But our experience when we went to the publishers for converting their publications into accessible format was, how much business do we get out of this? I mean, you will say that why should they talk of business sense? It is their duty. Yes, it is their duty, but at the same time, any corporate is going to, anybody in this world is going to think what is in it for me? True. So more and more people with disability, there's no point in blaming non-disabled population for making things like inaccessible. How much are we really demanding accessibility? How much are we really using? What I am saying is not going to be liked by my disabled friends, but how much are we going to use accessibility in the true sense? Unless we use it, unless we enforce ourselves onto society, why should anybody be listening to us? So today is the right day. Let us all make a pledge that as far as possible, I'll do my work independently. I will not seek sighted help when I can help it myself. So wherever it is accessible, wherever I can do it, I should do it myself. Wherever it is not accessible, of course, I have to depend on others. But let us all start using it so that we get more and more things accessible, because all of the people, right people are with us. But unless we take the first step, nothing will happen. Thank you, Sunil.
And take the first step in asking for mainstreaming accessibility, mainstreaming inclusion. That's what we need to ask for. Today, I am able to use a digital weighing scale. I don't need a talking weighing scale because the app for the digital weighing scale is accessible.
Correct.
So today, I'm able to use a washing machine connected with Wi-Fi because the app is accessible. That's what we really want to ask for, demand mainstream accessibility. Thank you.
Okay, Piyush, why don't you say something? I'll come back to you quickly.
Sir, you wanted to add?
I think I don't want to take a very constrained view of accessibility here to just digital accessibility. I would say virtually none of the ATM centers are without steps and with a ramp, and nobody can really navigate to that, realistically speaking, right? So I'm not restricting myself only to e-accessibility.
Sir, right? I'll quickly answer this.
One second.
Just one. Yeah.
So I think when we talk, we should take a holistic view of saying total accessibility of not just the ATM center alone, even the place that it is should be physically accessible. And if it is not, then just being in an island does not help you, right? So anyway, I think now with UPI coming in and all this happening, the need to go to the ATM has reduced quite a bit, which is very good. But I think still in a lot of places in rural India, they want to go and touch cash. There it comes.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. I think, Piyush, you're trying to say something. We have only about 5 minutes left, so I'll then come back and let...
Can we take Tina's question also? She's been trying to...
Okay, let's try. Before you speak, we'll try and track Tina.
Thank you so much. I have 2 questions. My first one is regarding the ban. I'm hard of hearing, and often when I have problem with my cards or any transaction, I'm told to call the customer service, which doesn't work for me. So can I please request banks to take care of accessibility from perspective of deaf and hard of hearing people, because we are not able to make phone calls. Second is directed to anybody who can answer, is concerning the recent events that happened regarding the strikes between the 2 countries. And I was traveling to a place where blackouts were happening, and there was no way for me to get information. Live events are not captioned or interpreted in September. So anybody in the audience can answer. The reason I'm asking this question because I have to leave after a certain time, so I'm leaving it open out there. That if we can request for emergency events, live events, be accessible to all people with disabilities, what is being done about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tina. Can we just close with the panelists? Or should okay. Maybe we start with you, Piyush. Did you have a comment on live?
I was talking more on the rural side.
Yeah.
Actually, one side of is on the developer side or the organizations who are developing solutions, but one of the most neglected side, like you mentioned about the rural population, the situation is very different. मैं example के साथ बोलता हूँ कि हम लोग एक OPD की तरह करते हैं कि आई हॉस्पिटल में एक रूरल एरिया में जाते हैं, एंड व्हेन पीपल कम देयर विद लो विजन एंड ब्लाइंडनेस, क्योंकि हम लोगों की एक्सपर्टीज उस तरफ है, तो उनके चैलेंजेस बहुत डिफरेंट है और उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स भी बहुत डिफरेंट है. लाइक मेजॉरिटी से 15-20 people who have lost their eyesight or losing their eyesight age of 50 plus 60s, उनको कोई स्मार्टफोन्स बेस्ड सोल्यूशन चाहिए ही नहीं. उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट इज़ कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट. उनसे पूछो कि आपको क्या चाहिए, वो अपने किसी बच्चे के साथ आते हैं गांव के और उनको वो बच्चा पूरी जगह लेके जा रहा है, सब कुछ कर रहा है, मेरे को घर पे अपने बेसिक टास्क करने हैं. वो बेसिक टास्क करने में उनको मदद चाहिए. वहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी अपना कोई रोल प्ले करने के लिए है ही नहीं. तो ये एक एग्जाम्पल हुआ. दूसरा एग्जाम्पल हुआ, बहुत सारे लो विजन बच्चे आते हैं जिनके पेरेंट्स ने उनको स्कूल से छुड़वा दिया पढ़ाई. क्यों छुड़वा दी? कि उसको बोर्ड नहीं दिखता, पर उसको स्पेक्स मिल जाते हैं सही टाइम पे, वो उसका सोल्यूशन है. और स्पेक्स मिलने के बाद उसकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व है, उसे कोई हाईटेक सोल्यूशन नहीं चाहिए था, या उसे सिंपल डिजिटल कुछ चाहिए था. तो पॉइंट ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ मैं कि वन साइड हाई टेक इज रिक्वायर्ड, बट अदर साइड वी हैव टू, अगर हम रूरल लेवल पे जाके सॉल्व करना चाहते हैं, वी हैव टू सिट विद दोज पीपल, अंडरस्टैंड कि उनकी सिचुएशन क्या है, उस सिचुएशन में क्या सोल्यूशन उनके लिए वर्क करेगा, एंड दैट इज द वे फॉरवर्ड. वो अभी करने का मैंडेट किसी को नहीं मिलता. अगर मैं IIT हूँ, रिसर्च करने का मैंडेट है, पर मेरे पास इस तरह की एक्टिविटी को एट स्केल करने का मैंडेट नहीं है. अगर कोई कॉर्पोरेट है, वो एक सोल्यूशन बना रहा है, वो टाइम स्पेंड नहीं करेगा जाके. कोई स्टार्टअप है, वो जाके लोगों के साथ नहीं बैठ रहा है, तो बैठेगा कौन? सवाल ये है. तो वो बैठने वाला कोई नहीं है अभी. तो इसी वजह से रूरल तक जाने का बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज हो जाता है.
So we've completely run out of time. I think we've had a lovely conversation, but I wanted to end with you, Prerna, because you didn't get a chance to make a second intervention. Did you want to answer the banking?
Yeah, banking question.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, Rahul. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the question from the.
No, I'll not defend my bank. I'll talk as from the sector side, sir. So one development regarding the ATMs I would like to share. Like sir mentioned about RAMs not being present. So with support from Secretary sir and intervention from NAP Delhi, now EASE 8.0, which is the guiding principles for the banking sector, they have the metrics on physical accessibility. Now, what does that translate to? That if these metrics are implemented in true sense, which will be implemented because 7 phases have already gone and the 8th phase is coming, so you'll see physical accessibility and digital accessibility coming forward. Secondly, there are a lot of judicial cases like the Rajiv Raturi case, where negotiable and non-negotiable standards are being formed. Once they are formed and implemented, definitely banking sector is the one which will be the biggest, having the biggest impact in that domain. So, and the second part of the question, which was regarding the hearing impaired, yes, I agree challenges exist, but I would like to tell you that industry has started, due to ongoing court cases in CCPD directions from the CCPD and from the judiciary, banks have started, industry has started deliberating on capturing the disability. The biggest problem is banks do not have the capability of capturing the disability at present. That is the biggest problem. That's why the services are not being tailor-made. So industry is deliberating on that. But again, coming back to Union Bank of India, we have ISL videos available for our hearing impaired friends. And we have a dedicated email ID and WhatsApp banking through which you can communicate with us and let us know the needs if you have any. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rahul. So Prerna, why don't you end with your last thoughts or reflections based on everything, and we will close with your intervention.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll be very quick. I think in our learning when we were building Yes to Access, even after we have launched, as Madhubala had said before, when we talk to people, they'll often say, we can't do it, it'll take extra time, it takes extra money. And that was something that we were concerned about when we launched. However, if I was to tell sectors anything, is we've only been launched for 4 months now. and even with the support of the DEPwD, we've seen such immense positive reaction from the market. And we've seen people come alongside on the issue of accessibility, and there is a market for that, and there is the reason to provide better infrastructure, both digitally and in person. So I think that would be my final thought.
Thank you, Prerna. Thanks to the panelists for this fantastic session. I think the idea that continues to ring in my ears is this idea that it cannot be an afterthought. You have to build it in from scratch. From Meta, I'll just give one example, which is React Native. React Native is a toolkit to make web applications. And what Meta engineers managed to do is build accessibility into the toolkit. So you almost have to deliberately break accessibility if you don't want the app to be readable by a screen reader. So I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done collectively to raise all boats and to ensure that the world is much more accessible. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. It was a great panel discussion indeed. We got a multi-dimensional approach from across various industries. And special thanks to the moderator for sticking to our stricter timeline. And before I announce that we'll be breaking for lunch, I have two other short announcements to make. Wow. This entire program is being live telecasted by Radio Udan. You can watch it by your Apple phone or your Android phone, or simply by logging into their website www.radioudan.in. And also, as you go, please collect a goodie bag, which is courtesy the SBI Foundation and Idea Saksham. All the products in the goodie bag are made by persons with disabilities. I request all of you to please proceed for having the lunch as well as networking. We will come back sharp at 2:30. Thank you so much once again.